I think if you just look at like how people treat Elon Musk.
Instead, we need to embrace the tolerance that results from respect of all human beings.
I am here to say our house is on fire. From not being able to undo our mistakes. Unprecedented changes in all aspects of society need to have taken place.
We all have to do better as leaders in tamping down rather than encouraging. In tamping down rather than encouraging. We must reject any forms of fundamentalism, racism. Instead, we need to embrace the tolerance that results from respect of all human beings.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Clip It podcast, episode 23. We're trying it on YouTube today, see how it is, see what the quality's like, and overall see what the user interaction is like. I'm interested to see how this is. I've heard crap tons of debates in the past talking about the difference of YouTube and Twitch and stuff like Mix and all that. To apologise. Let me just mute my Discord, you wonderful people. But yes, I hope you're all doing well. I hope everybody's having a lovely weekend as always. Don't forget, I am Tactical TV, and these podcasts will be uploaded
on 2 times
onto.
the notifications coming through.
What a prick! And talking about YouTube, Spotify, and we're on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Breaking All Up. Why is the Tactical TV stuck there? Fuck it. Anyway, this is going well as always. As you can hear, we are joined by the wonderful Agent Oink and Delicious. So let's go and say hi to them right now. How are we doing, you wonderful folk? Oh my god.
Wow, there is a delay. I'm going to try and play back
I
to catch
know.
up, but it's.
I will say
bar.
now, it's on normal. There we go, fixed it. It's on normal latency. YouTube have normal, low, and ultra low. I just put it onto normal because they say it's the highest quality. I don't know how much of a difference it actually makes.
Right.
Who knows? Again,
Yeah.
not using YouTube, not really know much about YouTube
There we
streaming.
go.
I was
Some
just
nice Discord
curious, so-
notifications as well. This
Thank
is a
you.
typical podcast start. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, my experience watching YouTube streams is few and far between, and I'm very, very, very used to the tradition of just setting them to 2 times speed and being amazed at how the stream that you were watching that's supposedly live had a 417-hour buffer that you've just skipped through.
Yeah.
But it seems to be the same case for this one, so I guess people just don't use low latency. Maybe the quality is like particularly bad. I don't know.
I don't know. I know a lot of people on YouTube stream at 1440p gameplay wise, which I'm surprised by. especially coming from Twitch, where when you play stuff like COD or shooters in general, you try and aim for 1600 by 900 on
Yeah,
average.
900p is very common.
Top streamers will use 1080p just because they always have that option of it getting decoded so you can go down to 720p as a user, because it's inconsistent as shit when you're an affiliate. I don't think they have it for non-affiliates, but it's inconsistent when it's affiliate. It's just when Twitch have the resources, they will decide to do it.
You have the capacity, they'll let you transcode, but otherwise they don't, and it sucks. Because sometimes I go to your stream and it's just like, oh great, I can put this down to 144p if I want to, and other times it's like, nope, full res and only full res.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate and annoying as hell. But I don't know. YouTube, I suppose they obviously they've been a video platform for 12 years now. I don't actually remember. 11, 10 years. They have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the back end of videos, and I suppose they stream it. So, you know, they're definitely getting better at it. So, yes.
I mean, I would expect YouTube to have way better infrastructure for stream quality and stuff than Twitch does, because it's just simply a bigger platform. Like,
definitely.
Like Twitch gets way more watch time, but honestly, if you were to ask me, do you think there are more hours streamed on YouTube than Twitch? Like, that would be tough. Like, I wouldn't necessarily immediately jump to yes, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was so. Like, YouTube's huge.
No,
It's used by so many people in comparison to Twitch.
It's very true, and I don't actually know, because obviously I would say a good portion of Twitch user base have streamed or do stream. I'm curious what sort of the numbers are on YouTube. Like, how many streamers are there?
Probably tiny, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We've always spoke about this. YouTube, when it comes to streaming, has not got the greatest discoverability, I guess. Like, their videos are all right, recommended, you know, better than most platforms I'm aware of, but the streams are definitely a little bit lacking, I guess. The closest they got to being okay was YouTube Gaming, but that was just a pile of shit. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, you seem to have a favourable opinion of YouTube Gaming. Well, I have a very unfavourable opinion of YouTube Gaming, and it's always been interesting to me.
I didn't mind. I never used it, but it was there if you just wanted to watch YouTube gaming videos. If that was all you did in your YouTube watch time, if that's all you watched was YouTube Gamers, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, Jack Frags, you know, the Nerdcube, whatnot, then yeah, that's fair, and it was a good platform for that. I much preferred the channel page on there. I think it looked better, was better laid out than the default YouTube one, so that's why I preferred it. And obviously it had the much better streaming discoverability, because that was one of their like key features, or trying to get better at on there. But it just it wasn't needed personally. YouTube didn't really need it at the time. I feel like if they did it now, it would probably get more use than it would have back then. But at the moment, I don't think when they released it, it wasn't needed. We were in a high time where there was a lot of gamers, but there was also a shit ton of vloggers at that time. Not that there isn't now, but I would say back then it was more. You know, YouTube was more sparse, and there was a bigger user base that was separated between different genres. So
I think traditional vlogging isn't as big as it used to be.
No, it's more.
That peaked in like 2014.
Yeah, it's more vlogging with. It's kind of like scripted vlogging, I guess, because there's. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going off Mr. Beast, who would make vlog type videos, but they always had a scripted element to them, as they have an ending, they have a set goal.
A good example of that is if you ported I don't know what the latest Mr. Beast video is, but if you ported like his latest like common, like he's just giving people money in some way or whatever, Mr. Beast video to like 2013, I don't think most people on YouTube, if you said, is this a vlog, would have said, yeah, that's a vlog. Now they probably would, just because it's filming of people, and that's more what the definition of vlog means now, right? Like it's not like a vlog series, like people wouldn't necessarily say that, but like it is kind of like vlogging content. Like the tag vlog like kind of makes sense to apply to it in like the current sort of climate of YouTube. Like back then, vlogging was like a very distinct, just easy, like you're filming yourself. That it was that content, right? Like just going about doing shit. And there were the people that were just everyday people doing that, and then there were the people that like had a good income, good money, and they went off to places and did cool things. A bit like Casey Neistat when he was big.
Yes.
But
Have
like
you-
I don't know, yeah, vlogging's definitely changed it like a lot in like recent YouTube years.
Have you guys seen that his brother's finally made a channel?
No.
Casey Neistat. I can't remember what his channel's called now. It's something Neistat, obviously. Oh damn, what is his brother's channel called now? Give me a moment. But yeah, like that's kind of got quite popular. Because Casey Neistat announced it. Right, what's his brother called? He has children?
For me, it's always been interesting because I just like it was interesting hearing your perspective on YouTube gaming. I guess partly from the creator side of it because I just never saw a reason to use YouTube. That was the biggest problem with it is that I mean, even with what you said, like I don't really understand what the point of it was because when they announced it, I thought the intention was to completely separate gaming content, right? And that pissed me off because I was like, why? Now I have to go to two websites. That's horrific. That obviously didn't end up being the case. And it's like, well, why would I go to this website if I just want to watch gaming content when I could just go to YouTube? Like, I can already do that. There is no need for me to change my workflow, what I'm used to, the UI that I'm used to. Like, I can already do that on YouTube. If I only want gaming content on YouTube, I can get only gaming content on YouTube. Like, I just never understood what the point of it was.
That's yeah. It's I think it's very contextual, honestly. Like, again, if it came out 2 or 3 years after it actually did, I think it would have had more success. To be completely honest, if they decided to do it when Mixer died, it probably would have had more traffic, just because people were like, oh well, what's going to happen? Where's Ninja going? Are we all going to have to go to Twitch? Are we going to have to go to Facebook, which nobody really wanted to do, but some people have, and good for them. They're still doing their career on Facebook, even though it's not the best platform for game streaming, especially. And I honestly, I think it was just at the wrong time. It was a good idea at the wrong time, executed all right. It wasn't amazing, don't get me wrong, but it was executed well enough that it probably would have done well if it came out now, a year ago.
Would it though?
I personally think it would have.
But why?
Because people, I think people are fed up of Twitch because they just make constant mistakes.
Right. I don't disagree with that, right? But why would YouTube gaming succeed and them not versus them making a proper live stream discoverability tab, right? Like if on the left of YouTube you had your home, your trending, your subs. For me on Premium I've got originals and YouTube Music, right? What if it said home, trending, subscriptions, live, right? Like, I mean, frankly, just get rid of trending. That doesn't need to be there in my opinion, but that's my take. But like, why not just have a live section where you can discover live streams properly, the exact same way Twitch did it, the exact same way Mixer does it, the exact same way like every streaming service does it.
Okay,
over like YouTube gaming. Like what about people that don't stream games? That's immediately a problem now. What? I don't get why YouTube gaming would be successful. It's just YouTube but worse.
I'm going off what they've done. If I wanted them to do something that would make it better, yes, a streaming tab would be 10 times better because you don't have to then go to a separate website or separate domain to see what content you want to see. It's just all on your homepage. But I'm just going off what they did in the past, though. I doubt they're ever going to do that, just because they're very. I feel like they're trying to hold on to the whole fact of we're the the number one video platform, and I don't think they want to stray away from that. Because
I think they should.
It's Google. If anything,
but
I
why
feel like
wouldn't
Google
you?
would make a separate website for streaming. Like I would not doubt that 100%. I feel like they could do that. Just
I mean, they
because
could make a separate website, but why? Why not include it into YouTube where you already have streaming, you already have the infrastructure and the code and the software in place to do streaming. You already have a massive user base. You already have communities that are successful. You already have a lot of money coming in. Why not just like if Google right now spent the next year developing a feature matched competitor to Twitch as a subsection of YouTube, right? So it had the same level of discoverability, had the same tagging system, it had like the same level of emotes in chat, it had all of this stuff, right? Like, why would people not use YouTube? Like, if you propose to me right now that just bam, there was a YouTube Live tab and it was feature equivalent to Twitch, why the fuck would I use Twitch? No offense, Twitch, but why? Your quality is worse. You have a bunch of problems. You got a shit social media team. You're an asshole to half your streamers. Like, why the fuck would I not just come to YouTube? Don't get me wrong, YouTube has its problems too, but like the quality is better here. It just is.
I'll tell you why. Because they put
Okay.
they put too much money and time into shorts, and they don't want that to fizzle out. So they're gonna put a foot down and get this popular. I don't even
But
know what
shorts
shorts
isn't a
is.
bad feature.
don't-
Controversial take. I don't use shorts, right? I don't use shorts. But is it a bad feature? No, because what did they do? They saw TikTok. They made the exact same thing as TikTok and put it on YouTube. That's just going to make them a bunch of money. That's great for creators. Like, that just seems like a logical decision.
I
The
haven't
only thing
actually
that seems
seen-
weird to me is that I don't know how you upload to shorts, and I'm pretty sure you just upload a normal YouTube video in a mobile phone resolution, and it sometimes just gets put on shorts, which is a
I'm
bit weird.
confused of the point of shorts. Like, I've seen. The thing is, I'll watch them and then I'll go back in my subscription feed, and only there does it tell me that it's a short. Otherwise, it was just like a normal video that was recommended to me.
Yeah, they
I-
seem to
I-
be like overlapping. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't really understand the point of them. Obviously, I've not uploaded any shorts, nor do I have plans to, but I don't see why I would have plans to.
I mean, again, I think it's one of those things that part of the problem in how they implemented it is that they seem to have just sort of, in a very YouTube way, created this feature, just dropped it onto the floor, and it's just splattered it all across YouTube. And I was just like, what the fuck is shorts? Like, what? Like, they didn't communicate about it. They didn't give anyone information about it. They didn't give any users or like creators. Like, it just was there one day, and everyone was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, that was terrible. And I think shorts, for example, is something that should just be entirely like a separate section of the webpage. I have no problem with YouTube like diversifying their product basically into multiple sections rather than just having like a YouTube channel can live stream, it can video, it can shorts, it can stories,
it can
do
short.
all of
Beyond-
this stuff.
Like,
Just make better TikTok. Just make a subsection of your app that's better TikTok. It will get more use than TikTok. It'll make you more money than TikTok is currently making, and more people will use it, and more creators will use it. That's just better.
I was just thinking, this is kind of going a bit off topic, but it's still going on about YouTube. So actually, what were you going to say, Phelan?
I was just gonna say, like, I'm looking into it now and seeing like the slightly different things that you get if you like upload a short via like, or instead of just like press and upload video, just add all this stuff you can do to uploading a video. It would like, if for whatever it will go or whatever it is, unless they removed that feature. There used to be a feature where you could just press a button and you could create a video. Maybe you can't do that anymore, which would be where I'm getting confused. I can't see the button for it. Do they?
Yeah,
remove
I
that?
don't think you can do that anymore.
Why? So this is just basically that renamed, except it's appears to be time limited. Except
Maybe you can on mobile.
oh yeah, and you just get like more added functions like messing with the speed or music or shit. I'd like just add that to a normal video creator
Yeah,
from mobile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree, but like those features, like being able to mess with the speed and stuff, like on a normal, 16:9 standard classic, video that we've grown up with, like that doesn't have to be exclusive to that or exclusive to shorts. Like, just do it to
Yeah.
both. Like, shorts should just be their own thing, a separate section of thing. Again, like as a competitor to TikTok, and I will fully say this: if it's anything to do with video, YouTube/Google will do it better than anyone else because they already have the infrastructure and experience.
Yeah.
Right. People don't give credit to, and you've got to think about this, right? Video files are big, right? And YouTube has a lot of work optimizing them and transcoding them into their formats, and they, don't get me wrong, they put up years and years and years of research into getting that as optimized as they can, where the quality is as good as it can be on the least file size at the least bit rate. Like, they've done everything they can in that regard, don't get me wrong, but you still got to think how many videos uploaded to YouTube a second, how many videos are on YouTube historically, and you can fucking go and get any video on YouTube and it will load in like absolute maximum 30 seconds if you pull out the most random depths of the vault video. The fact they can load any video and just play it anywhere in the world in that short a time in terms of a computing hardware achievement is insane. Like, it's actually insane. YouTube have nailed like the infrastructure side of it, and I think people don't give them enough credit for that. Like, it's crazy how well it works.
Yeah, no, I'd 100%.
Like, even
agree.
Twitch
But I
clips
didn't
aren't as
even
good.
consider that, but no, you're right.
Yeah, I think most people just don't think about it because, like, most of the time they're just watching big channels, right? Well, like, yeah, obviously they're gonna have like the latest PewDiePie video, like, probably preloaded on very fast disks, like, you know, in all of their data centers. The fact that you can just get that video that was uploaded by a channel creator to upload that one video in 2007 and has 4 views, and it will unironically load in under 30 seconds. Like, sometimes I you know, you click on those videos and they'll take like longer than usual. They might take like 8 to 10 seconds to start playing, but the fact that it even take like that time is crazy. Like, that's presumably stored on hard disk. I don't know how YouTube's infrastructure works. If it's stored on tape, I mean, that would be crazy. But like, however they fucking do it, it's impressive. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
No, I
That's a
100%
good point.
agree. And they've obviously been doing it for, yeah, it's mentioned like 10 years now. So they've got a little bit of experience. But I wanted to kind of change the topic over from Twitch, from YouTube, sorry, over from shorts to streaming. The whole concept of streaming on YouTube. Because you were telling me that YouTube does streaming a little bit differently to Twitch. Obviously, but we're both not professionals. We both don't know this.
Yeah. This is just from my experience as a user.
Yeah, I haven't streamed on Twitch. Sorry, I haven't streamed on YouTube since 2019, probably 2018, I think. I could find out. I just can't be asked. But I was just curious that you were mentioning that you could stream 2 videos to the same channel, which we know because obviously people like SpaceX and other channels do that.
Loads of music channels do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, again, to reiterate what I said earlier off stream, I'm pretty sure you can stream technically an infinite number of streams to one channel.
So that goes into my question of, if you had, for example, I'm going to use, let's say the Misfits group. There's like 6 or 7 of them in that. What if 4 of them streamed? Could they all stream to the Misfits channel? And if they did, would they get more interaction? No, so would they get more traffic to that one channel? And would that be beneficial than just streaming on their own channels? It's like,
Could they? Yeah, from how I understand it, yeah, they could. Would it get more traction to the channel than streaming on individual channels? I would say probably. But would it actually be beneficial? Probably not, because the live stream discoverability on YouTube is terrible. So, from my experience, when you stream multiple streams to a channel, I don't know if it's the first one or if you can pick the one that gets like promoted, so to speak. When you like go to the channel page, there's like it's live now with this one. Like, because like SpaceX, for example, right, when they stream, right, they'll have a main stream and then they tend to have access to one that's a bit more behind the scenes, normally with the actual comms going on, and that doesn't get promoted. Like if you like in like, I think it still shows up in your like subscription feed and that side of things, but if you're like on the channel, it'll be like, yeah, watch this like this is the stream you want, here, rocket go up. So there's obviously like some decision or algorithm, whether it's on like you have control of it as the streamer or whether it's just entirely automatic on which one sort of gets pushed. So I think like if all the Misfits did that, the problem is that one of them would be like the streamer on the Misfits channel, and the others would be there if you went to the videos page.
I'm curious about this because that's kind of talking about the top level stuff. Obviously, it'll probably, I'm guessing, looking at YouTube and the behind the scenes a little bit when you stream, it's just the algorithm picks the most popular one. Like if it's got looking at its analytics, if it's got the most views, it'll probably highlight that one. So surely I feel like that would be a better idea as a smaller streamer, because then you can get more traction to one channel, but then get the users' names out, the creators' names out. I don't know. This is something I haven't seen being done before.
I mean,
but I'm just interested in like, what would YouTube do in that sense?
Yeah, one of the problems I see with that is say you started a streaming house, right? Like those are becoming more common these days.
Can we rename it to Content Creator House?
Content Creator House,
Yeah,
and you are all streaming to one channel, right? You've got Content Creator House channel, and you're all streaming to it, and that's how you do it. And you do that for years, and you build up a community. You hit like 4 million subs. You're very successful. Your streams are getting 30,000 people watching each. Because again, this is another thing that people don't realize. The viewer counts on some YouTube streams are insane in comparison to
Oh,
Twitch.
yeah.
If you think Twitch has high peak viewer counts, you have not seen YouTube streams. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, separate to that. Like, if you're all streaming and if anyone wants to break off, that's just like, how the fuck's that gonna work? That's just not happening, right? That person's community is dead. Because no one's going to their new channel, or like people go to their new channel, but like it's not going to be anywhere near the size that they were putting on that channel. Which means to get a streamer to agree, or a content creator to agree to being in that creator house, it's immediately just like, why?
So
Like, that contract sucks for you. That's basically saying, I'm going to provide you all of this value and success, and I get to keep absolutely none of it should I have a problem,
so
which would suck.
this is going into, obviously we don't know YouTube partners contracts, but like if you were to, like, let's say we started a streamer house and had a channel that we all streamed onto. We started, let's say, from literally like 100 people, which is relatively high for a very, no it's not, but let's say we had 100 subscribers. If we were to, if that actually worked like that, and if we managed to get traffic to the channel and we're all streaming onto the channel, then we're smart. We're not gonna stay streaming to that one channel from forever, because you could always branch off. It's easier to branch off when you've got a smaller community, because then you're more likely to grow and you're not gonna have to worry about losing everything. But secondly, I'm curious if you're able to, this is going complicated and going like different wings of stuff, but like let's say that channel got to 10k. If you're smart, you would still stream to that channel, but you would multi-stream to your own channel as well, if that makes sense. So then people who were just dedicated to, like me, let's say, they would
Yeah.
come to my channel. People who like your content
Yeah.
go to your channel. And like,
But
okay, so
then-
let's just talk about the overall thing with this, by the way, because this is something I'm never going to do. But streaming as a community, like a streamer house, is much more beneficial than just by yourself, because
In general, yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
statistics. There's more people making content, so you've got more likelihood of one of those just getting lucky and getting viewers. And then obviously, if up to that person, they could just fuck off and make a career out of it and leave the other 6 dead, or they can still make content and help the other ones out. It's we've seen it in the past. It's going to happen in the future. But like that's the main idea. I'm just curious, would the whole idea of streaming 4 separate channels, 4 separate personalities onto the same channel work? And if so, what would it look like?
Yeah, the only comment I'd say about your idea of someone streaming to the community channel and their own channel so that they can break away if they need to is, as the creator house, why would you sign someone under that contract? That's just saying,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a creator house and now I'm going to just halve my viewership and just make myself earn way less money, make us way less successful. Like, that's just, like, from no matter which way you go, it's bad for either the creator house, like, contract owners and, like, the management, or the streamer themselves.
Just read the contract.
I mean
Always
yeah.
read contracts. Yes.
And but you say that, but there are lots of cases of quite big esports and YouTubers that have just made drama because they've missed some small print. And man, come on. Like, in the long run, it probably made them more money, but
I mean, to be entirely honest, my take on this from someone that like watches like some esports is that if you're in an esports situation where you're starting to actually get proper contracts for like being on a team, right? You're probably at like upper end of tier 2 or going into majors at tier 1. At which point you can afford a lawyer. So get a lawyer to read over your contract.
yeah.
Like, you don't have to pay for a lawyer 24/7. You just pay for a lawyer to read over the contract and point all the important bits out to you, and then they go off. Like, become a patron to Legal Eagle or Leonard French or something. They'll do it. They won't. That's not. Please, they're normal YouTubers. Just leave them alone. But like, it's just, if you're like at that point where you're considering going into like the CDL or the OWL or LCS or something, and you don't bother to get someone to read over your contract, like even just a family friend or someone that is smart at this sort of stuff and has some knowledge of law, like, you should just get someone to read that contract other than yourself. Like, God, please.
It's still bad advice, but like it's even better just get like a parent, or, as you mentioned, a family friend to read over it, just because it's good to have a second point of view, no matter what. Like get like, I don't know, get your partner to read it as well as maybe a really close friend, just to make sure, if you really want to for some reason avoid a lawyer for some reason. But I would say that's like good for anything really. If like if you got an email saying you've won so much money, get someone to read it just in case.
Yeah. Another thing with the YouTube streams, right, is let's have a look right now at like how YouTube treats some of their bigger streamers, right? And when I say this, I'm not necessarily speaking people that pull the most views, even necessarily pull the most money, but the people they are in huge financial contracts with, right?
Right.
And
Dr.
I'm going to have to
Disrespect.
send some images. I will describe this to the stream, but I will send some images for the benefit of other people in the call here. This is a screenshot. I sent a screenshot of basically the current channel, right? The Clip It channel I'm streaming to. And if you go to the channel homepage, it will have a little banner and it will show the current title of the podcast, the thumbnail, and that we're live streaming it, right? And we're just a small random channel as far as YouTube is concerned. This channel, that's also shown as live in my subscriptions on the left-hand side, is the Overwatch League channel. They are also live right now, and they are in a multi-million-pound contract with Activision Blizzard to stream here. And it doesn't promote their live stream, which is just like, why? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if I want to watch the Overwatch League, I see that they're live on the site, and I have to go to videos and then click on it. It's just absurd. Like, everything YouTube does makes no sense to me. Because like you're in a contract, you're paying these people to stream on your platform, and you're not even promoting the stream. Like,
Can I ask you a
what?
quick question?
Yeah,
What's the channel above Overwatch League?
that is a random photographer from Alberta, Canada.
Who's live?
Yeah, they're currently streaming a time lapse live footage, whatever you want to call it, of some mountains in Alberta.
Nice. Yeah, no, YouTube is really weird when it comes to promotion. From what I'm aware, most streams I've seen, the only reason I can say the one that on Blizzard is a bit broken is just because they're a corporation. They've obviously been paid and work with YouTube. So there's something, for some reason, it's just broken there. Like, if you were to go, I don't know if Dr. Disrespect is live right now. Wait, why is the second one crash? Never mind. Yeah, he is live. So like, oh, it's the same from his channel actually. It gives you a trailer and then interesting. Oh, it's because he's not live.
It's weird.
Yeah. It look. I thought he was live. It's just because his thumbnail says live and he has live in the title, so I just assumed he was live.
Oh, that's cursed.
Oh, the thing is, as you mentioned, there's no easy way to look for live channels. Fuck it, let's
Yeah,
just
yeah. Just go find a big live channel, Charles. It's the most easy to do on YouTube.
There we go. Features live. CS:GO with Valorant. Wait, what the fuck's this? Oh, someone's doing
CS:GO with Valorant.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So
Do
yeah.
it, just do it all at once.
Oh, that was a mad. Wow, it gives
Oh,
you a good
LEC's
varied-
live. That's a good example.
Reacting to Fortnite montages. Read description.
So the LEC is an even funnier one. So the LEC, for those that don't know, is the League European Championship, right? It's a big esports event, one of the biggest esports event in the world, actually. And their streaming thing has the preview again, like we do on this current channel, where it's like, yep, here's the stream title, here's the thumbnail, this is live. But also then a separate section with the same stream that says live now, and then a section with their upcoming streams.
Okay, so
Like, why is it there twice?
this isn't kind of related, but it's also really confusing. If you look up Dr. Disrespect and then sort it by live, there's a good like 6 out of 7 channels that just say reacting to Fortnite. I don't understand the community in general, to be completely honest, but like, is this a thing I'm just not aware of?
YouTube is weird.
Yeah, again, with a bigger user base, you will get a lot weirder stuff. Oh my god, that is just the genetics. It's not even looking up.
I mean, one thing I'll say, and again, I don't have full experience of this, but it sure seems like if you're non-English, that like you're just gonna be way better off streaming on YouTube. Like, its discoverability and platform in different languages is just better than Twitch, but like just an insane amount.
So here's a channel that I think everybody would love. 24-hour livestock check of the RTX 3060, 3070, 3080, and 3090.
Yeah, those streams have been getting popular lately.
I wonder.
I don't know if they're actually like decent because I've not like active. I've clicked on a couple of them, but I don't know how accurate they are. Like even with YouTube delay, I think you might be too far behind to have a chance.
That's a good point, actually.
I don't know. It's not something I have expertise in. I've just seen them pop up an unfortunate amount.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
I mean, YouTube's own live page, right? Like they do have a live section. It's right at the bottom of the web page, and it's really hard. And oddly enough, it's a channel, because it's a bit like how YouTube does like categories in music, where they're like channels that you subscribe to that have other channels. It's weird. Like it has an upcoming live stream section, of which 2 of the live streams in it are already live for me.
No.
It's like, how do you even manage that? Surely it's just checking like when the scheduled time is and if it's live, and that's all you have to check. It's whether it displays there.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's even a small channel. It's Vicstar.
Oh, yeah, who's only
Oh.
got 2.9k viewers, which is a
Very
hell of a
nice.
surprise. His Warzone content's probably better, that's why. Yeah, again, like, I genuinely probably would move over the... Oh, I don't know, it's hard to say. The benefits I like of YouTube are that, you know, you got custom thumbnails that you can put up, you know, the whole back end is a bit more customizable when it comes to actually streaming. It's a little bit nicer. The analytics, the live analytics are quite nice. But
Pardon me?
you know, I like the panels on Twitch. I like the emotes, the customizable emotes.
I like the community aspect of Twitch.
Yeah, obviously.
Don't get me wrong. There are many problems with it. And it has its ups and downs, and there are worse people on Twitch with poorer communities and people that promote bad stuff and all of that jazz. But when you go to like a perfectly good Twitch channel where like you like the streamer and the people that are streaming are good and the people watching are good, like that community sense of like everyone using the emotes and everyone chatting and making the same in jokes, like there's that sense that like someone once described it Twitch chat as a bit like a crowd at a sporting event, right? Like when you get to one of those channels, like, you know, some of the big Twitch channels like X Ninja and Tim the Tatman and that, like they have so many viewers that the chat becomes like unusable from a communication standpoint. It's just emote spam and the same copy pastas and all of this stuff. But at the same time, like that is the same like concept as being in a crowd at a sports event and everyone just cheering and saying the same things and like a football event, right? Like it's comparable and it's not directly the same, no, but like it's that same sense of a community of people all doing the same thing because they're all excited about the same thing. And I think Twitch does that really well with its chat. Like that is one thing that Twitch does stellarly, is having that sort of community sense of like, yeah, I'm part of this streamer's like community, and like I, you know, see these regulars in chat. Like even if you're a lurker, like you still see the same regulars talking in chat, and you might find one of them particularly funny, and they always like use the great emotes and say funny stuff, even if you've literally never spoken to them in your life. Like, which is like for me, I'm always lurking in Twitch streams. I never talk in Twitch chat, even in the smaller streams. But there are plenty of Twitch streamers that I could name like 10, 20 of the regular viewers of that I would recognize in other places, that I'd recognize if I saw their Twitter. And like that's something that Twitch does, you know, really well, that YouTube not again, like, I don't really have much experience watching streams or streaming on YouTube. I just don't see how it would. Like the chat on YouTube streams doesn't have the emotes, and I imagine wouldn't be as suited to copy pastas and all of that side of stuff because of the lack of emotes. And then, but also just I imagine it has way more bots in it. Like you look at YouTube comments, the amount of bots that are just like, oh yes, this is Ninja Fortnite, and Ninja Fortnite has commented on this video telling you to go to this link for this competition that Ninja Fortnite has put out. Like I see that shit on YouTube streams all the time as well. Like people just like, you know, bots just spamming links in chat, bots just spamming click on my channel with a bunch of like, you know, ASCII art or weird Unicode characters so that it doesn't get flagged automatically, just so that, you know, they can just get people to click on their channel and scam kids, because that's like half of what goes on YouTube. That was a really long rant to say that Twitch has got good chat, but
Yeah, no, I Twitch has got the better community aspect of it. It and customized. Oh, I don't know. It's the community side of Twitch is so much better, I would say. The community management, streamer management, and their overall brand management is shockingly bad. And honestly, the amount of mistakes they've made, I don't understand why they haven't just fired that person. No offense.
I don't think it's that they haven't fired that person. I think Twitch has probably fired their social media managers more than any other
That's
company. I
true.
think it's just they keep getting
Mm.
hired by the same idiot management.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. As we mentioned before, it'd be interesting to see what they do, if they do anything with the new CEO of Amazon, if that changes anything, which I very much doubt. But we'll have to see. It's always an extra element in the cog, and an extra cog in the machine. Yes. And so that could change something. Again, we don't know. It's uncertain. Probably, most likely, nothing. But
I mean, there was a lot of
Who knows?
drama about how undiverse Twitch's staff team is in places a few months back, and I feel like that's like one thing that, like, for me, in my opinion, would solve a lot of the problems they have. Is that a lot of the mistakes they end up making? It's just that they try and do like supposedly they claim they try and do something for good or to be inclusive or to help a community out. And they just fuck it up because rather than asking that community or doing any research or getting a member of that community to figure out what's best, they just like fumble about and end up doing some weird ass like event and just mess it up completely. They just get some person that's completely unrelated and uneducated in the field to do something about it. It's like, if you want to support like trans people, get a trans person. There's quite a few of them, like, and I'm sure they'd love to work at your company. Like, just do it.
Yeah. That sounds more than reasonable. No, I don't know. I don't know how they've managed to keep getting into these.
It is impressive,
positions.
isn't it?
yeah,
Twitch really did, like, they're on a speed run at this point.
it's the fact they haven't had anything massively backfire as well. It's just, oh, you've done this bad. Oh, we apologize, and that's as far as it really goes. Which is just surprising, honestly.
I mean, again, there's
So-
just no competition, though, is there?
No, since Mixer's died, and that was
Like,
barely
if you're a
competition at
streamer
that,
on
so-
Twitch and you felt really uncomfortable about, one of their many events, because I was gonna pick one, and I realized like there's literally so many over the past 5 years. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you felt bad about one of them, like, what's your option? Like, go stream on YouTube? No, the chat's worse. You won't have any discoverability unless you already have a community on YouTube. Like, if you're not big on scrubs from video content, like, you're fucked. At least as far as it seems from the outside perspective so far. Like, that's weird. Like, okay, what if you're a viewer, like, and you felt uncomfortable, like, where do you go to watch streaming? Like, you go to YouTube, but you can't really find YouTubers. There's not as many people streaming in like certain fields on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like you just don't. There's just nowhere to go. There just isn't competition to Twitch.
That's
Everyone's
very true.
Sadly reliant on it.
It's upsetting and unfortunate. Yeah, there's nothing really to add to that. I guess it's like
No, not really.
it's really annoying. And you just have to grind your way. You have to keep mining through the obsidian to get to that diamond. Because
No.
there is a bit of luck in any content
What?
creation.
Just
But-
don't even start the Minecraft metaphors.
What? You
Not
have to
the
keep.
time.
Do you know what's something that I've just discovered though?
Yeah,
that's
no,
going to be
wait,
really
let me
entertaining
finish
for
my
Charles.
segment.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to keep mining until you get that diamond, because there is an aspect on any content creation where the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. Again, as mentioned, there's a huge element of luck, but the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. No matter what. And talking about mining, our server's recently gone very well. That's why I did that anyway. You carry on.
Okay, that was yours.
What
It was
the
just- okay, so I
hell
like
just
that I had
happened?
one small offhand comment to make. It's literally like one sentence, and he interrupted to continue a segue to a next category. That is beautiful. I love you. Right. All I was going to say is Vicstar's part of the Sidemen?
You didn't know this?
No, because I knew
I don't know
Vicstar from
who's
years
part of the
ago.
Sidemen.
Oh
Before
my
the Sidemen were even a
God.
I
thing.
don't
Like,
think I
Vicstar's
can
just
name
a
a
gaming
single
channel from
member.
2013.
Yeah, and he's been part of the Sidemen ever since. When did he
He
join?
wasn't a part of the Sidemen aid. Like, Sidemen didn't exist when I was watching, or like when I knew of Vicstar was like a big time. I've never watched him.
No, I'm finding out when he joined, because I swear he's been there. The Sidemen are counted as a music group according to Google.
Everyone's counted as a music group according to Google.
The fuck? That surprised me, I'm not gonna lie.
He's co-founder of the Sidemen?
Yeah.
Oh, the KSI group. Okay. What do you know? I know one person from it. KSI.
You don't know? Oh my god, okay. Nobody knows YouTube.
No, I've heard
Why
of them.
would I?
But
I don't watch them.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Who was I thinking
yeah,
of?
he was-
Oh,
yeah,
I was
he's-
thinking of the Misfits.
He was.
He's been active since 2010. And in
Mm.
2013, he created Sidemen. So, wow, okay, Sidemen has been around way long. I thought Sidemen were created in like 2016.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a recent thing. I only heard
They've
about it.
Oh, the
recently got
house
it.
was
years ago.
2014 to 2018. That's probably why.
Yeah, like they did a lot of content when they were younger. Oh god, that takes me back. They've changed a shit ton right now.
He was on, in 2021, Michael McIntyre's The Wheel as a celebrity
Yes!
expert in gaming.
Yes. Oh my god, I forgot he was. That was cringe, man.
Ugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Modern YouTube is crazy. Like this is another thing we are talking about earlier. With like the vlogging. We'll get to your segue at some point.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Well, like how vlogging has changed over the years. But my god, I feel like a boomer in comparison to what YouTube content is like now. Like it has changed so much. It is so different. Like the general attitude of like, you know, young kids and stuff and what they're watching on YouTube is so like it's weird. It's just I couldn't have predicted it in any way. Like Dream SMP being big, like all of that stuff happening, like the way like you've got these creator houses, like it's content that I just would never have seen being like what YouTube is now, right? Because it's just not what we were watching. It's not what was big when we were that age at all.
No.
It's just weird.
I-
It's just weird to me.
I don't know if it's, you know, obviously it's the nostalgia.
There's
it's
a
what we
Will and
grew
E
up with.
video on my thing that's sponsored by BBC Three. I mean, what the fuck is going on?
That group.
Or maybe
really,
it's not. Maybe they're just watching BBC Three. It has BBC Three in the logo. It's weird.
Yeah, it's probably a Reddit video. No, well,
I don't know. I don't watch this channel.
But that's a really recent group, E-boys, that I haven't uploaded for months.
Why Alex lost his hair?
That's true because of the Sidemen. Man, they're all clashing together. But no, I like.
Do you remember when British YouTube was like 14 YouTubers?
Yeah, like honestly,
That,
yeah,
like, unironically?
that's what I mean. Is when we grew up, we had like
That was the vlogging
Yogscast.
community.
The Yogscast was one of my favorite groups to watch. Simon and Lewis. And
Well,
they're-
thankfully, you can still watch them now at
Yeah.
twitch.tv/yogscast and yogscast.co.uk, where you can see all of their excellent streamers.
I unironically think the majority of people that still watch them are just the ones who watch them from the beginning. Because I don't think I don't know, their content has changed.
I would no.
I reckon they've picked up a lot of a younger audience.
Can we
Is the-
reword
Younger?
that, please?
No, I
Okay,
think that
out
was
of interest, like-
unfortunately accurate.
Not that I'm going to necessarily critique you too much here because it's not that really relevant. But out of interest, how many of you, how much do either of you watch the Yogscast currently? And that can be the Yogscast Twitch content on their main channel. Yogscast, it can be any of their partnered streamers or affiliated streamers, or it can be any of the main YouTube channel or any of their partnered affiliated YouTube channels.
I watch a bit of the hit show Hat Films. There we go, got there.
Okay.
Interesting.
Just because they've been doing a lot of series, they've been doing a lot of videos on their old, like watching their old videos, which I used to watch. So just watching
That's
that.
fair. That's fair.
That's all I've watched of the Yogscast in the last 5
Okay,
years.
what about you, Faye, then?
Nothing at all. The only thing I've watched in the past few years, for some reason, there was a short period where like highlight compilations were recommended to me, but that's all stopped, and like it's been like probably half a year since I've even seen one of those be recommended.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
So
the closest I've got in like 5 years.
My-
if not more.
my opinion then, as someone that watches the main Yogscast channel, not every upload, but near enough. Like I don't watch their Among Us content or their Project Winter, which is basically like a different game but similar to Among Us. Like I mostly watch their TTT, Peculiar Portions if they're doing that, their Gmod Sandbox videos and stuff. And I watch a good few other channels and streamers and stuff from the community or their partnership group, whatever you want to call it. What's the fucking word? I can't think of it. YouTube member, like Machinima. What are they called? YouTube
Network.
network. That's the word. Because that's basically what the Yogs are now. Is that they definitely do not have a younger audience than they did when they were big on YouTube. I mean, like maybe because YouTube just has more younger people on it, you could argue that. But like their content now is very much just kind of like it basically serves one purpose, to advertise the other people's Twitch channels, right? Like the main Yogscast Lewis and Simon channel. Simon isn't on it much for his own personal reasons. You could talk about Simon and why he hasn't been in content. Like it's a meme in the Yogscast that Simon hasn't been as much content lately. You know, whatever. Like we all love Simon. He's a lovely person.
Yeah.
You know, he's just doing his own thing.
He has
And
enough
that's
money.
not relevant. the point of like the TTT videos, for example, like the latest TTT video I watched last night, had, let me get it up so I can load it up. It had Ben, who doesn't really explicitly do content. He's more of a staff member, but he's in a lot of their shared content. Basically, like handles the servers and stuff for them. Does a bit of production. Ben's lovely. He's in streams. Don't get me wrong. He does streams, but he doesn't have like his own streaming channel. Well, I said that. No, let me record it. He does have his own stream channel, and he's been streaming regularly to it. But that's more of a COVID thing than it was like what he has traditionally done in the Yogs, right? Like he has been streaming regularly on his own lately, and does his own streams on the main Yogscast channel, normally with Lewis, a couple of other people. Duncan, who does his own YouTube content and streams. Ravs does streams. Xylus does streams. Bree does streams. Checkpoint does YouTube and streams. Boba does streams. Right, like the whole point of like the YouTube content is, if you're a Yogscast fan, whether that is a fan of the main YouTube channel, a historical fan, or you're particularly like Ravs and Xylus, for example, you watch their streams regularly. The channel, like the Lewis and Simon as its branded channel now, serves sort of as this hub where all of these members of the overall partner network get brought together, and they play simple games that are very easy to get into, like TTT, or they do like Gmod sandbox stuff where they like just do like a Gmod build video. And it sort of serves as like a like it's almost like a content onboarding service where like you go here and you're like, oh yeah, that was good. I really like Ben. Who's in the video in the description? Oh, twitch.tv/bedgurs. Oh, let me go on his channel. When's have a look at his schedule? It's like, oh, he's next live on Tuesday. Like that's cool. On Thursday this week he streamed AdMech versus Tau and RimWorld. That's good. I like Ben. He was entertaining. Like that's kind of what the content there serves, and for that reason, I feel like don't get me wrong, like the Yogscast in terms of their success would be considered like they're not pulling anywhere near the numbers they used to. They're pulling like 100 to 150k a video, and that's fine because that's kind of what the Yogscast is now. They're not trying to go viral. I believe their main YouTube channel is actually still losing subscribers, but it has been for years. Like it serves more like they fully transitioned into being a partner network. Like as a company, they partner with people, right? And as part of that agreement, that I believe there's different like contracts you can have. Like I'm not sure if they still run these so much, but back in the day they used to employ people to create content where they'd get paid a wage, and then the money they make would just go like from their channel would just be entirely separate. Then would go straight to the Yogscast bank. But obviously they also now, and I believe mostly now more commonly do like the standard partnership agreements, like we take a percentage of your revenue and provide these services. Which is that, yeah, part of the service is that you get advertising. You can have merch done through the official Yogscast store, which isn't just like a partnered store where they like get, Spreadshirt to make shirts for them. Like they have their own suppliers and stuff, like the same way like LTT store works. They, have thumbnails and editors and stuff that you can use. They have an office that you can reserve space in to go and use their recording. Obviously with COVID, that's all been a bit more complicated than usual because, they haven't been using the office as much and everyone's been working from home. But, say COVID wasn't a thing, right? And we were a member of the Yogscast, we would have the ability to go and use their camera equipment and their recording studio and their, proper office and stuff, facilities. That's part of what being a partner with the Yogscast means. There's a very different attitude to like traditional YouTube partnership with like Machinima and how that was done back in the day. It's a much more like close knit, like sort of everyone knows each other, very tightly sort of done. We can work together to create content. As far as I can tell, does not turn much of a profit, if any profit. I mean, for example, they started their own convention recently, which again, like you think, well, Yogscast have been losing a bunch of money. They've been losing a bunch of views and subs. Like, how are they running their own convention? It's like because they've transitioned from being a big viral sensation on YouTube that they were in, the early 2010s to being more of a sort of small community where they run a small convention in Bristol, a bit like CoxCon with Jesse Cox, right? Where they run that, and like they chose to run that at a loss because like they just like they can, right? They can build up a bit of profit and then just run that at a loss because it's just a way to give back to the community. It's more of like a sustainable, staying at the same size, just getting everyone by earning the money than it is like a trying to go for a big viral thing.
I forgot Jesse existed.
Jesse's lovely.
Yeah, he is. No, there's nothing wrong with Jesse. I just forgot he did content.
Yeah, I know who like the hit cool guys on YouTube. I'm still in 2013, bro.
Nah, that's
I'm surprised
fair.
they still call the channel Lewis and Simon at this point, to be fair.
Yeah,
Like, and it's
that's
not
a
just,
bit of a
like,
meme in the community.
Yogscast.
I can understand it because it is.
Fucking.
It's.
I think it's just for SEO.
Yeah.
Like I'm 99.9% sure it's for SEO. Like if you Google Yogscast Simon, Or like, or if you search Yogscast Simon into YouTube, I'm presuming the top channel will be Yogscast Lewis and Simon. Yeah, and like I imagine Yogscast Simon gets a good amount of views. Like, yeah, that brings up Lewis's channel and then Simon's channel, so that makes sense.
And talking about the
Yeah.
Yogscast,
My
My
God, they've done TTT a lot.
carry on.
Like I said, they've done my like. I know I've been doing TTT for a while, but like, I'm
long time
scrolling
now.
back, and it's been way too many times a week for over 2 years so
Yeah.
far. I'm still scrolling; it's still there. And
Yeah,
absolutely,
TTT
like,
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday currently. It used to be almost every day at one point.
yeah, I, how can you do that? Like, almost day after day recording TTT
They
for
don't.
that amount of time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't. What they do is you get you get the group together, right?
Yeah.
So say for example, if I go back to a TTT video
I'm assuming they,
2
like,
months ago,
Record like 6 hours.
this TTT video has
But that's
Lewis,
not any
Ben,
better.
Duncan, Ravs, Rivi, and Pedguin and Boba in it, right?
Yeah.
What they do is they get that group together and they record for literally like the whole day, taking breaks, and that
But
is
the
content for months. That is
Yeah,
content
oh,
for the next like
absolutely
4
it is.
months.
But that's not any better. You're still playing the same amount of TTT. Is my point. Over.
I mean, yeah, but they varied it a lot.
Maybe, to be fair, I don't know. I know
Like-
they
like
use a
2
lot
years
of
ago-
mods. I
yeah,
don't know
like
what
2
mods
years
exactly.
ago-
They use a lot.
It was like vanilla TTT in the roles. Maybe not 2 years ago. God, the sense of time with pandemic is weird. Maybe like 2.5 years ago. I don't know. I'm old slightly. I've been watching Yogscast a long time.
Alright.
At one point, it used to basically just be you'd have your traitors, you'd have your innocents, you'd have a detective, and they had modded weapons, right? And like stuff like that. You'd have extra stuff in the traitor menu, extra stuff in the detective menu, like pretty boring generic stuff. Then a while ago, they added the roles where you now have like the jester, the phantom, the glitch. The traitor can have a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Like you've got all this standard stuff. Which, oddly enough, one of the weirdest things I discovered when they brought in, because the only TTT content I have ever watched is well, not ever, but I've watched consistently for a long period of time has been the Yogscast, is that those mods exist, but like exactly what those roles do can be like really quite customized, where like one phantom can be like really different to another phantom, or like one jester can be like really different to another jester, and it's really confusing if you swap between the achievement hunter, like TTT, this
Route,
is still
yeah.
TTT, right? Like somewhat.
I don't
Yeah,
know, I've
every
never
seen-
Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day they do it on.
So like it's
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they've
it's-
not been
no,
doing it for 4 years.
That's the thing, Charles. Fun fact: Yogscast actually entered a partnership with
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth, where the Yogscast content is on the Rooster Teeth website, like they were a partner channel, because they were doing like Achievement Hunter specifically were doing a lot of TTT. It made sense that they offload their TTT audience to the Yogscast, the Yogscast offload their TTT audience to Achievement Hunter, and that was like a partnership they did. Like they're not a member of the Rooster Teeth network at all. Like they're literally not. Like they just know the guys, and they've done a few crossover vids and stuff, and the Yogscast have got like long-term friends of like the Game Grumps and stuff as well. Like they have their friends and stuff.
You could
So it's
say
interesting.
Rooster Teeth is the American Yogscast.
Yeah, that's a very common comparison. I would say that Rooster Teeth is a lot more. Like Rooster Teeth is the American Yogscast in the sense of like at the start. They're not really comparable now because Rooster Teeth is the American Yogscast. In that being American, they ended up going the very corporate route, whereas like Yogscast is still like I mean they're a company, but they're not making a particularly large amount of money. Like don't get me wrong. Whereas like I don't know that I'm saying Rooster Teeth is making a huge swathes of money or anything, but like they have a very corporate structure. They're owned by AT&T or Warner, whichever one it is. Now, like they had that whole thing where they just ended up being like absorbed by the massive television conglomerates that exist in
Otter
America.
Media, apparently. Oh, very good. A division of AT&T's.
Yeah, I thought
Warner
it was
Media.
AT&T. For God's sake, AT&T owns Warner. Of course they do.
Yeah, okay. Sure. There's layers to
never
this,
ends.
which I didn't.
Wow, that's certainly something I didn't expect. But
No,
that's
the
fair.
Yogscast is a good example of like what I think is like great strategy in running a business. In that, like, when they were like big on YouTube and Shadow of Israel was popping off, and like that, they were popping off for lack of a better term, right? They sort of founded this company. They had all like the benefits of that for tax reasons. Like a lot of people don't know this about Shadow of Israel, but they employed like Tom and Ben as producers, right? They had writers, like they were running it like a TV show. they had an editing team,
Yeah.
they had an audio team, they had all of it, like it was properly done. You had like Sparkles and stuff running the audio, and like all of that was done. It was like how it works, but obviously that wasn't sustainable to now. Well, like they're just not pulling those views anymore. So they sort of they took a step back, and even though their company is literally bigger, they have more employees, they have a bigger office, like all of this stuff. They sort of diversified and were very smart about what they did, and they saw that like what they were doing wasn't long-term successful, and they prepared for that, and they've transitioned now to this sort of running as a partner management like business where like you're part of the Yogscast, you need some equipment for a bit. You want to do something new, or like you want to try something out, they might, if you can propose them, they might help take on some of the financial risk for you. Like you need thumbnails and artwork and merch handled for you. Like I can't remember the explicit name of the company because I'm terrible at memory. But like the Yogscast is like there as like a the partner network. But on the same building, they have like what used to be technically a part of the Yogscast, but now isn't, like doing like brand advice for people. Like if you like I can't remember what the company's called. I really should know this. They do like hey, like you're running a brand and you want advice on like how to grow your brand. Like come ask us. Like we've been doing this for like 10 years and we have experience of being like popping off and a small brand that isn't popping off anymore. So like they do that, and I believe they have another sub company that technically or like a sister company that technically now like handles the merch side of things, and they run like a lot of merch for not even just like the Yogscast. I believe they do it for some smaller like British channels and stuff. Like it just makes sense. They even publish games now. Yogscast officially publish games. They run like game jams and help people publish games and help promote those games on YouTube and stuff because they have it makes sense, right? Like if you're looking at some indie games, right? Whereas historically you might like give your game in a code out to some YouTubers to get content. The way this was, you publish through the Yogscast, and part of that publishing agreement, part of the way that they pay you back for being the publisher, is that they will get some of their Twitch streamers to stream it, and they will have it on their YouTube channels, and they will promote it on their Twitter, and that's like part of the content, right? Like it makes sense to do that. Like they're not, like don't get me wrong, they're not just publishing like absolute crap asset flips. Like they are publishing games that they genuinely think are good.
Like Your Ventures.
It's yeah,
like
like Landlord Super. Do you remember Landlord Super?
Yeah, that game.
It's a great game. Like that was published through them, and like no one ever thinks about that. But it's one of those like silly games made by a tiny team. And they're like, this is cool. We want to like put some content out on this, and like they've got Glurp going out and stuff. Like that's all good.
Which one's Landlord Super? Oh, right. Okay. I thought I've seen one video on this. I think.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos on it.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know that they were. There you go. You're right. I didn't know they were behind it.
Decent.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I think they did a very good job at, like I say, recognizing that they weren't gonna be. They're not like PewDiePie currently, right? They're not Vicstar streaming currently. They're not a big channel anymore, and they aren't going to be able to do that. And don't get me wrong, sadly the Yogscast over the past couple years had some real unfortunate situations of a couple members being horrific people. And that really sucked for them because, it sucked for the community to all have to go through that, it sucked for the victims, it sucked for them as a company. And to their credit, while I think there are a lot of criticisms you could have at how they've dealt with stuff in the past, like Lewis as an example has been controversial. I mean, even within the Yogscast community, people will be still to this day controversial about whether Lewis is a good person or not. Because, for example, one of the people that was ousted as a pedophile and sexual abuser, right? He basically, when there were allegations against them on a stream, said, "Oh, just shut up," and you're just making bullshit up. And like he has apologized for that and regrets that. But some people said he should never have done that. And I'm pretty sure if you asked Lewis, in my opinion, from what I see of Lewis now, if you asked him that today, he would straight up say, "Yeah, I should not have done that. It was immature and it was wrong." Right? Like he can't take it back. It's been said, and he has to own the consequences of that. But he would regret that, and that's like a shame in that sense. So they've had like a lot of stuff to go through, but they've really grown as a company, and they're kind of just there now, like doing their own thing. And I think, good on them. Really, is the general gist. Like they kicked out the bad people, and they're just running it. Like COVID has obviously been slightly weird with stuff because they used to do on the main Yogscast channel all of these streams at the office in their stream studio, where you'd get like their different members that lived local to Bristol where they're based. And they do community streams together, and you'd have people that aren't local on call on Discord and stuff. and all of that. But obviously, that's not been doable in COVID because you can't really have people in the same area. So they've either been at the office in separate rooms doing that. Because for context, like their office is really awesomely made. They have like a bunch of recording booths where every computer has like 2 screens, and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
and a mic and 2 headphones, so like 2 people to be in there. I think they can plug in more than that. But every single one of those and the stuff and all of the computers in the streaming studio can all be audio and vision mixed at one central hub, which is awesome. So like they have like Steve and Sam and that. And I think CJ or something he's called. One of the other guys, I forget. I don't watch their Twitch content very often, but that will like sit and they'll have like a full mixing desk, and you can just take any one of those rooms and the audio from the audio from Discord and just pipe it all for like proper. It's like proper industry standard equipment, which is cool. But obviously they haven't been able to make use of that as much during COVID, so the streams have been a bit like all over the place and stuff. But like that's kind of fine. Like they're just kind of vibing, and I respect it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I suppose. It's
It's hard to come because I don't know too much about Yogscast, so it's hard to say from that point onwards. But
Yeah, no, it's just interesting because I think a lot of like people don't know what the Yogscast do, and like that's fine. Don't get me wrong, that is absolutely fine. Because why would you? If you don't watch their content, you'd have no idea, and you'd remember the Yogscast from like the Yogscast, right? Like you'd remember them from where they were and what they were and stuff.
who
When
are
they were big, when they were known across the like huge swathes of the internet, and I mean, I don't know, they just kind of do their own thing, and I think a lot of people just like aren't fully aware of that. Like I remember the name now. 4th Floor Creative is the name of the company because it's on the 4th floor of their office building. They really should have been so much easier to remember that. But they do like influencer marketing, right? So like they work with like all of the big games companies, with big brands. They help get people sponsors. They help give you advice on how to brand your channel, how to produce your content, how to strategize your content. All of which I think a lot of people don't realize is actually really important in like in modern like YouTube and Twitch. Like if you want to be big, right? Like you need to have like an understanding of like what your content is and its direction and how to brand it and how to market it. And I think people don't realize how many people they work with that are big names. Colin Furze, he works with 4th Floor Creative. Big Star apparently works with 4th Floor Creative. I just found that out on their website. That's hilarious. So they make a lot of money doing that as well. Like they run these campaigns and do like insight and stuff. So like I think they've really like made smart decisions about what they're doing with their company. And again, I should technically specify that isn't technically Yogscast. It's a sister company that part of what they do as a service may have at one point been kind of done by the Yogs, but was split by Lewis and Simon separately years ago. As well, not years ago. I don't know, a few years ago. As a separate company. It's cool. They do loads of cool stuff.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough, isn't it?
That's
Can't
my
argue
rant
that.
about the Yogscast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the
Damn
Yogscast.
Yogscast.
Minecraft. I don't know. I was going to talk about the server.
Yeah, I felt like we were gonna transition into that earlier, and I've
Yeah, your segue.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
beautiful segue that got ruined. Yeah, we launched the server yesterday, our little SMP, which went really well. I'm really happy with
It
how
went
that's going.
terribly.
It went well.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems.
What server doesn't? And people seem to be really liking it. Working.
yeah, it seems to be
Working well.
alright.
Most of the mods, all the mods are working well. Just they're not causing issues. It's just trying to finesse
well,
to get them
to
to
be honest with
work
you,
properly.
I've not had a single problem with the proximity audio.
You haven't used it.
Exactly, and it's been great.
Damn, you got
I
me
mean,
there.
the main problem has been it's not. There's no problem with the mods. It's just money.
No.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
We don't need to get
so
into that.
donate now
And
at
talking about
twitch.tv/tacticaltv.
I was thinking about my audio setup today. I really do want to move my setup at ground, just for convenience. I'm trying to think about if I get in, like in the long term, in general, if I get an audio mixer, where do I put it? I don't really have an easy spot to put it. That's easy for me to get to, I guess. I got a few spots, but it just means moving stuff around. But I was talking to someone about how they want to upgrade to an XLR mic, and they were just asking me, like, they were just asking, because I was talking to them yesterday about if I get a new mic or a new interface or whatnot, I would probably sell one or the other because I don't need it. The only reason I would keep my interface is if I get a guitar, because I want to learn guitar at some point. That would be ideal to just, I would much prefer to be able to plug my guitar into my computer and then do all the software stuff through that. But he was just saying, were you genuinely thinking of selling it? And I was like, didn't really think about it, to be completely honest, because that's just extra hassle. I can't be asked to go on eBay and Gumtree and whatever platforms you use and see how much they sell for. And I was thinking, like, a round number, I guess, if I was to sell my mic interface is like 100. I don't know if that's a fair price, to be completely honest. I'm guessing, because both my interface and my mic cost around the same price.
How much does the AT2020 cost?
75 brand new.
And how long have you had it?
4 months?
You break?
5 months? Give me a
Okay,
moment.
yeah,
Let me go
I
on my
think
Amazon.
100 is. I think 100 is underselling that. Like, in my opinion.
What, for both
Like
the interface
110,
and mic?
120.
I was going to say
Yeah.
110, but I don't want to be finicky. But I was thinking because the only reason I would sell this mic and my interface is if I get a mixer. And I was just thinking, well, if someone wants to buy it for that price, I might as well sell it and then get a mic I prefer, because I've always been vocal about this. I don't like the way my mic sounds personally. I find it a bit too gritty sounding, a bit too harsh on the lows, in my opinion. It's very minor. I'm not saying like this mic is general. It's most XLR mics, all of them are different, no matter what. That's just my opinion. It's not a bad mic in any way, shape, or form. That's just me hearing my voice day in, day out for the last 5 months, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like the thing I wanted this, like I was not trying to get across yesterday when I said I want a new mic. I also forgot some things that I wanted that we were listing off, so half funny. I got it in September, so yeah, I've had it longer, 6 months. That's not how that works. 5 months. I was a month off. Fuck off. I bought it for £73. Okay, so yeah, there you go. But no, it's not. I'm not trying. I don't want to get a new mic because I want a higher quality one. I just want one with a different sound because I personally don't like the sound of the AT2020. Just a very minor issue. And again, I know that also comes down to what interface you're using. If there's any noise, which is again a very minor difference. But yeah, I was just thinking potentially if someone would want to buy it and I had if I had an audio mixer, I could sell this off and get a better mic, or one that I'm happy about. Also, the thing I missed off yesterday, I wanted a new keyboard. Anyway,
Screw keyboards. That's all I'm saying in comment to that.
Funny. I mean, there could be a device you could rent shortly that might help you
rent.
decide,
For
what sort of
fuck's
keyboard.
sake, how much do you want for it? How much are you asking to rent it?
Thank you. Like a couple of quid. I'm not a madman.
Okay. Interesting. I know. Actually, no. It's not the keys I care about. I just want a 60% keyboard. I much prefer how they look.
Okay.
With my
right.
current desk situation, I keep running in. Every time I'm playing games, no matter what game, I'm always hitting the side of my mouse onto the side of my keyboard. So I just want a smaller keyboard. 60% is all I really need. I don't care.
60% is awful. Having been stuck with one for way too long, admittedly it was awful in other ways, but the form factor itself, go for 10 kilos. Or some other
No, okay.
small form factor.
Okay, yeah, 10 kilos I can see.
It depends
but,
on situation, in my opinion. Like, it really depends.
But there are some really nice custom 60% keyboards that I really like the look of. Keycaps, keycaps, like the actual switches, I don't mind. I'm not fussy over what key I actually get. Sorry, I wouldn't
That's
want
weird.
mushy, but like I want mechanical. I'm not gonna bat an eye if I get a red
You
or
can
if
get
I
mushy
get.
mechanical, trust me.
I'm not gonna bat an eye if I get a cherry red or a cherry brown. I really don't give two shits.
Ugh. How dare you?
Okay, right.
No, what I will say on keyboard sizing, right? it really depends on what you're doing. Because in almost all situations, I could not live with TKL or below. They're just absurd to me. I need my 10 key for a very, very, very simple reason, in that I do programming and I power use my computer, right? If I don't have a full keyboard, I cannot use my computer. Like, it is not possible for that side of things. But for something like gaming, right? Like, if I'm playing like a competitive FPS like Overwatch, I would much rather a 60%, because it gives me more space for my mouse, which is just useful.
Yes.
So, like, I think it really depends on the situation. Like, it really depends. And it sounds pedantic as hell, but if I was in my ideal and money's not an option, I would just have multiple keyboards for different situations and multiple mice for different situations.
That's basically what I was
But obviously,
gonna
it's
say.
absurd. Like, in reality.
Because you can get those like half keyboards that are literally just like the left side of the keyboard. It's like QWERTY, and I think it ends there. But no, the amount of time, not the amount of times, apart from the fact, like I say, that my keyboard was shit outside of just the form factor, just missing buttons like the home key. And the problem, when, or at least in my experience, I found when a game or a program required the home key, the insert key, any of those for whatever reason, they couldn't be rebound. A load of other keys, like any of the alphanumerical ones, could normally be rebound. No chance for like the home key and things.
No, yeah,
And it didn't happen often, but it was enough for me to be like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Not that I've come into the problem of I need to use a home key and not have one because I have a home key. Also, how do people use PCs and type without a home key? Crazy. Anyway, like I've been in situations absolutely in games where I remember stuff being on like one of the home end, insert keys, and it's just not rebindable for some reason.
Yeah.
It's really weird. One thing I'd give you advice on, or just a small recommendation as a friend, although I'm not necessarily sure it's a problem now anyway, is that if you do ever have that problem in your I can't speak, in life, install PowerToys, Microsoft PowerToys, and use the keyboard manager to remap a key elsewhere on the keyboard to home.
Yeah.
It is the keyboard manager in PowerToys is so useful.
Okay.
I thought you were going to tell me to use auto hotkey then for a minute.
AutoHotkey is also a more than valid example. It's just less accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboard manager's a UI. You just say, I want this button to go to this one, and it works. So
yeah,
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know personally.
I suppose the
again,
other thing to remember is
Okay.
I use my keyboard on my lap. Like my mouse is on a mouse pad. It's got as much room as it's gonna get. My keyboard's on my lap, so I'm in a different position. As far as I don't know anyone else. I know people do, but I don't know anyone else personally who uses a keyboard on my lap.
I like the closest I can come to that is my old desk. My keyboard, was on like a pull-out tray, and there was literally no room for a mouse on there, so I'd use it on like on a layer up, which was a little awkward and annoying.
Yeah, I've seen.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would need the home key, so 10 keyless would be probably fine. It's just because I've seen some really cool looking 60%. That I quite like the look of.
I think they lend themselves to customizability more than other keyboards because it's a very defined shape that is very regular, consistent, symmetrical enough. Like it sort of just it gives you like a nice bit to like apply a style to, right? In comparison to like a full size keyboard where it's like weirdly shaped and not symmetrical at all. And I think you can still get really nice custom keypad sets and stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's just that like creating an overall theme across the board is harder.
I would also like to say, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. No, I couldn't have just mentioned it yesterday because I only found out today. But this GoXLine Mini I'm looking at on a website for sale, a resale site. I didn't realise the reason the person, because it's always a good idea when you're checking Facebook, eBay, Gumtree, why that person, if they put in the description why they're selling it again, because you can find out if it's going to be any issues with it or something that's could make it not worthy to pay that much for, I guess. And looking at this one, the user simply put that he plugged it in for long enough that didn't realise it. He plugged it in and realised after a short amount of time it doesn't work with Mac. Now, surely you would do your research before buying something that
Also,
costs around
why
£100.
would you Why would you resell it for? Not I'm gonna like bring up the price specifically, but like the price that they were starting the auction at, when you could just return the product.
That's also a very good point.
Like, even if it's
Yeah.
outside of return window, I'm pretty sure you could just annoy customer service to get that product returned and get the full refund.
Yeah, it genuinely surprises me. I'm not going to complain because if it goes for under 100, my limit, because the bid ends tomorrow, my limit's £100. So if it goes over that, I'm going to not bid anymore. But if I can get it for under 100, I'll be more than over the moon for that. I feel like it is because there's currently 8 bidders and it's 17 hours left at £81. So I feel like it's going to probably hit 140. I could see it hitting 140 easily. Then again, I have sold items.
Yeah, the only thing I would
Sorry.
mention is just to let you know that Stream Deck is supported on macOS since High Sierra 10.13.
This is the Go XLR Mini.
Oh right, yeah, I'm going mad, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I don't know why. I don't have a brain. Yeah, continue, ignore me.
Yeah, so I feel like this would go over 140 anyway. But if I can get it anyway, that would be perfect. You know, the
Maybe I'm
cheapest
gonna
one.
outbid you now.
The cheapest one, I don't care, as I'll buy it off you for £110. The cheapest one I can find is 140 because delivery issues, as we've discussed on the podcast before, because of Brexit. So, and these are the only ones that are in stock. Amazon sells them for I think 115 retail, but there's none in stock at the moment. I could be wrong with that number. I think that's when I last saw it retail for. So, who knows? But yeah, no, that was I found that really I just thought why would you not do your research? But that's even more of an important point because he hasn't had it for that long. Surely, if he just plugged it in, realized it doesn't work, and now he's reselling it, he can't have had it longer than a week. So he surely could have returned it. That is certainly quite weird. He also started the bids at £10.
Yeah, that's higher than I'd expect.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people start them at £1. I think that's because
Hell
you
yeah.
you can upload posts for free without having to pay. I think that's to do with like the whole thing you have to pay to put products up over a certain price. I think they allow you to do unlimited amounts for like £1 offers. No, sorry, not offers. Starting
You
bids.
only have to pay for like it's like wild shit, like property. I think
Property, cars, yeah, cars.
But yeah, like this wouldn't come into it at all. Like he could have started the bidding at like £700 and he'd have been fine.
Oh, fair.
No one would have bought it, so he wouldn't have been fine in that sense. But
Interesting. There's another one that's already gone up to £80 and it's only been up for a day. This I don't understand. Why does some items sell for a lot? Oh, it's because he's got a shit ton of karma or whatever the eBay equivalent of karma is.
feedback.
Feedback, yeah, he's got a shit ton of feedback, so he's probably got people watching all the time, which is something I recommend. Look for people who you have to be careful. You don't want to trust someone with the smallest amount of feedback because that's never a good sign if they're selling a lot of items. But it also could just mean they've only sold 1 or 2 items in their life. Secondly, if they're someone who's sold hundreds of items, obviously they're going to have a lot of feedback. So there's going to be more people keeping an eye out what they're
I love
selling.
that you're giving eBay feedback. The person who,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, is fairly new to the
Yeah.
buying and
I
selling
sold
on eBay.
one item on there, and that didn't
Yeah.
go well the first time, but went perfectly the second, which was upsetting because it didn't go for as much as I was hoping it would. That's literally the nature. It depends on when you upload it, when it finishes, and all that. You wanna ideally like this one. The one thing I'm hoping for is the fact it finishes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So a lot of people are going to be in work when it finishes, so they probably won't be able to do their final biddings. And that's
I imagine some people have already just put in their max bid.
yeah, but that's
Or not some person, like one
Yeah, yeah.
person has.
Maybe.
Multiple people.
Whether I haven't actually checked what the last
I
bid is.
imagine that's the common way of doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. Do I actually no? So I just realised. Yeah, if I put in tomorrow, like in the last 10 seconds, if I put my max bid in as 100, and nobody's gone over that, it would just go down to what the next lowest one was, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes. I might as well just do that then, if obviously that gets
Yeah.
accepted.
Unfortunately, it's kind of annoying. It depends on like who you are, I suppose. But the eBay auto bid system is actually so much better than it used to be because you could. That's why sniping was such a big thing. It didn't work. I don't remember. I think it was intentional for a while, but then wasn't. It didn't work in like the last minute or something of an auction, or then like the last
okay.
10 seconds. But now it does. Like now it's.
That's how I
It's
won
just-
this camera.
Yeah, now it is just an automatic bid. It's in the system. It doesn't like create a new bid each time, which I think is what it used to do.
That's one
Which-
thing.
It's a good thing and a bad thing. I guess it depends who you're asking. I kind of prefer sniping, but
That's one thing I don't understand about some people who bid on eBay, and I've
Right.
seen this firsthand. Is okay, so I can understand it from the point of you can't physically get to a computer or phone in the last
yes,
hour, half an hour, 10 minutes, minute of a
Whatever.
bid. But it's when
Yeah.
people straight away put their maximum bid on it. Because then they're just
Right.
relying on, especially if it's something you're desperate to get. I can understand if it's just
Right,
a few
go
odd
on.
items, but like if it's something you really want, you want to be there for those last at least 10 minutes so you can see, okay, this is how much it currently is. I may have to put a
yeah.
little bit
But
more
if
in,
you
I might
can't
not.
be there, then putting in
No,
your
yeah, no, that I can completely understand. But I just feel like most people, we live in a day and age where technology is around every single corner.
Hmm.
Just log on to your boss's PC for 10 seconds and put that last bid in. You know? I'm sure you can't get fired for that.
Oh, yeah, but like I said, the problem is the auto system is now just so good. It's really not worth coming in at the last few seconds. Like I think I've been doing it like in the hope that the system will trip up or something. No, I've done it literally last second, and it is just already in the system, unlike the way how it appeared to used to be at the very least.
As mentioned, what I'm going to do tomorrow, last 10 minutes, I'll just put £100 in.
I mean, you may as well just put that in now, though. That 100.
But the thing is, the reason I don't want to is because then it shows someone that I've bidded.
Yeah.
And so they're more likely to overbid me. If I did it in the last 10 minutes, they've got 10 minutes, or like even if I did it in the extreme the last minute,
They've got 10
a-
minutes to figure out how much you bid and quickly.
No, they've got 10 minutes to figure out, can I get to my boss's computer? How much has he bidded? Shit, I can't afford that. And then there you
Wait.
go, I've won the bid.
Sorry, I mean, it was kind of zoned out in this conversation. If you bid on a product on eBay, right? Say it's
Okay.
currently at £50, I bid £60.
Yeah.
Someone bid £70. Can I not just bid 80 from the same computer or account? Why do they have to go to their boss's
Yeah.
computer?
Oh,
I
no,
don't know
I'm
why
sa-
Charles.
yeah, I'm just saying if you can't physically access a computer or your phone because you're working in a job that
I
doesn't have
see. Right.
have to-
Illegally access another one
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
but
it's
you
just- it's an extreme
can,
case,
for
but-
example, say
He
it was
really
at
wants that eBay.
£50 and you'd be willing to spend up to like 100. You could put in 100 and eBay will automatically increment it when other people try and bid 60,
Yeah.
70, 80.
Oh, I see. So you could put like a maximum in and say,
Yeah.
you know,
But-
my upper limit's
And
150,
the
and it'll
problem
just
is-
bid to 150.
Yeah.
It's a system that actually works. It didn't used to work like perfectly, but now as far as I can tell it just works perfectly,
Oh God.
which is
So, like,
annoying,
the
but I can see why.
The reason I don't want to do it now is if nobody else bids on it till the last 10 minutes, then it's less likely. It's like if I do it now, people are going to.
He thinks people are going to let their guard down.
Yes,
But
I do.
Now that I think about it, because I was considering that when I've been bidding lately, I'm not sure they are. I think everyone's in the exact same boat.
How
unless
many bids have
you're
you won?
Literally new to English, the English language, eBay, like existence maybe.
How many bids have you won
Oh, I don't
doing
know,
your
a few.
technique? Because I've
What,
won.
just waiting for the last second.
Yeah, I've won 2 out of 2.
I've won.
I
a
mean,
good
okay.
handful.
The problem with this question though is that a lot of the time when you bid on something, it's not a question of you winning it or losing it. It's a question of how much money you want to spend. Like a lot of the bids he may have quote lost would be because he's just gone, yeah, I'm not bidding more than that. So it's not that you can't judge the effectiveness of the system based on whether he got the bid or not.
You can.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I might as well just do it tomorrow anyway.
Also, I have good news, Charles.
What?
Oh,
I think I fixed the GoXLR Stream Deck integration not working.
Oh wow! How?
oh yeah.
I was googling about it because I was googling Stream Deck and I added GoXLR and I forgot to delete Stream Deck and a Reddit thread came up and I think I fixed it.
Oh nice.
Apparently it was as simple as just reinstalling the plugin, but I've tried that many times, but it seems to be working now, so maybe it's just a newer version of the plugin.
Decent.
Yeah, interesting, but epic.
Talking about broken shit being fixed.
Okay.
What
Okay.
what were your opinions on Inglorious Bastards?
Wow, that was an awful segue. I wondered if that's why I couldn't think of anything else that you could possibly talk about in this stream. And I was hoping there was something like maybe you were about to say, speaking of which, I fell through a table. That would have been a better segue, but there we go.
Not yet.
So,
I lost weight actually. This week I lost the most weight in the family.
What? Okay.
Good for you.
Good for
I
you.
just thought let people know.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Thank you.
Dear,
Exactly 3.5 pounds.
Stop.
What? I don't know what that is in good units.
Don't fucking measure.
yeah, measure it in.
You don't
Like,
measure. You weigh.
if you come to me and say I lost 3.5 pounds, my literal first thought is, I mean, oh, that's annoying, but oh well,
I
it's only
lost
a couple quid.
1.5 kilograms.
Thank you. Like now I understand that you're talking about weight because you're using a unit for weight. Now I understand how much you've lost. Well done. Good job.
Anyway, Inglorious
Fuck
Bastards.
stones and pounds.
Yeah, so
Don't chuck stones
a
at people.
film that's been recommended by a lot of people over the years, but well, so, you know, my main man Tactical here recommended it like explicitly. It was under Amazon as a comedy, and I've heard it listed like as a comedy in the past. I was like, you know what, all right, sure, let's give this a shot. It was, so also disclaimer, on phone fairly early in the morning, so hey, there may have been things I missed.
The prime time to watch a film.
But you know, hey, fuck it, my watching experience. What an overrated film that is. I'm gonna be nice and say film. It's so confusing. Just not to the point. Like the plot. Okay, let's go through the good points first, because there were some genuinely good things. The plot was pretty alright. Sure, I'll give you that. The acting, yeah, fine. Didn't notice any issues there. Even like the camera work, the cinematography. You know, pretty epic, pretty well done. Beyond that, though, it's just the pacing was all over the place. I have no clue why people call it a comedy. I guess everyone's version of comedy is different, but The Big Bang Theory, whether you find it or not, is still a comedy, right? It's still aimed at being a comedy show.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't personally
was,
find
like-
it. Oh, I'll just
Anyway.
continue finding more to ignore
There
him.
were possibly 5 or 6, I wouldn't call them one-liners, perhaps little quips in the film, but I picked up on like a few extra bits. Not enough to be classed as like a comedy. I think there's a bar you have to meet, like attempting humor-wise.
I would like to say something as the person who
absolutely,
recommended it.
'cause- Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's a
need you
comedy
recognize.
by a comedy standard. It is. It's not a comedy. No, it is. It is an action film.
Its official genre is war film.
Yeah, but like I
Okay.
say, it's listed under Amazon as comedy. If you look up Inglourious Bastards genre, it will come up with.
Adventure, drama, war for me, but yeah.
Let's have a look. War, action, comedy, dark comedy, adventure, drama. According to
Dark
the
comedy, I would
Google
say it's
results.
more dark comedy than comedy anything. Like it's not your generic
Rotten Tomatoes
comedy.
called it a comedy. I'm guessing IMDb.
Does anyone
did.
actually use Rotten Tomatoes? No, IMDb was the one I was just reading.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Good.
So I
Okay,
wouldn't
well maybe they
read
got it
Google.
right then. Where is it listed? Oh yeah, it's just up there. Okay, fair enough. Sure. Okay, the pacing then. Let's start with that.
I want to
All
talk
over
about
the
this.
place.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, all over the place. So it would go from, a fairly standard scene, and then it would slowly escalate to a dramatic conclusion. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty fun. That's pretty epic. That's
Okay.
that's a good scene right there.
I-
Then
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the exact scene though.
I was
so
going to
don't
say,
wanna-
could you remember the scene that
it was
you
a
complained
scene
about
where
last?
it went for some reason. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Come on, brain, you can do
Do you
it.
remember any of the characters in it, in that scene?
Yes.
What?
Oh no, I remember in the film. Sorry. I
Okay,
thought I
yeah.
wanted to
The
play rest
characters
of
are
it.
well written and good story arc.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was fairly
I'm
happy
trying
with
to
that. Okay,
figure
well,
out
let's go
what-
back through the things I do remember. For a man who I've heard Quentin Tarantino obsessed with like little details in his film, right?
Yeah.
The amount of crap, like, and I'm talking, in my opinion at least, like shit that I noticed, amateur crap, where it's things like, okay, again, without, fuck it,
It's an old film.
Not a direct spoiler warning. 11 years, just over.
Yeah.
11 years old.
God, it's 11 years
And
old.
meant to
Jesus.
be a masterpiece, which is why I'm holding it to such high regard.
Okay, because
I-
it is.
And also important to note that a budget of 70 million, like budget's
I-
important to talk about when you're like analyzing set design and stuff.
I believe I read that the actors who did certain parts in the film were actually sent off to like do some form of training for scalping to make it look more realistic in the film.
Okay.
I'm
That
like,
just sounds like Tarantino, to be completely honest.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like an awesome Tarantino. It's something I'd hear about Tarantino, his awesome eye for detail. But then there's things where the camera they'll swap from one camera to another, and the entire set has fucking shifted. Like, mugs are in a
What?
different place. People teleport across bars. Again,
Are you
just
talking
things
about?
for detail?
Are you talking about the bar fight scene?
I
The
believe
before.
I am. Don't even that.
That is a
little-
great
that-
scene.
No. It's great up until the point where everything goes down, and you know how people say superhero movie fight scenes and thriller fight scenes are over edited. I want you to
Yeah.
watch that for the first time and tell me what the hell happened before the scene ends.
I could tell you without even watching it.
You couldn't because okay.
I
here's what
could.
We have 20 people all wearing the same uniform. The camera cuts
That's called military.
about 7 times. Oh, absolutely. But the camera cuts 7 times within the space of 2 seconds.
I could.
During this fight, and you
genuinely.
have no clue who's doing what or is
Okay,
having
do
what
you
done to them.
vaguely remember the scene? Because I could,
Yes, yeah.
explain to you the first the
Also,
first five
explain
cuts.
to me why the bartender's teleported back behind the bar,
Okay,
just
so
like partway through.
I
But yeah, sorry,
okay,
go
so
on.
I literally do
I need
correct
to back
me,
off.
but
I'm peeking my mic.
from what I from what I remember, because I love
Yeah.
that film, that scene especially because it is a well documented scene, especially
Yeah.
doing media. It is the Tarantino films tend to be quite good study films, but that scene I remember. Oh, I'm gonna say it anyway because again it's 11 years old. So
Sure.
we start off with the spy, who's starting to talk to this general, getting used to him, and the barman comes over and asks him for drinks, or stays.
Yeah.
He does come over and asks him for drinks, and he says, "Oh yeah, I would like 3 drinks." Obviously doing
Yes.
3 with his hand in a very British way, which isn't.
That I just want to say I really like that little detail. Like
which
that's
isn't
how
which
that
isn't
scene
said
plays out.
it isn't explained anywhere. That's just something if you
Yes,
know
it is.
it.
It's explained in the next scene.
Oh yeah, but like I mean,
Don't give me that.
at
It's literally explained in the next
at
scene.
the time when that happens, if you know it, cool,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know it. It gets explained later, which is what I like.
Yeah.
Because
It's
they have to
depending
do
on
that
the
because
way of
people will be
explaining
like,
How were
it's
they
not-
caught? Yeah.
yeah,
Not to come in with anything that's going to be too disruptive or too long.
you are.
As someone that has, I think, on the podcast been very critical that I think almost all films are shit.
Yes,
Why
Fair
is that impressive?
because it's good
That's not
storytelling.
impressive. Yeah, but that's basic. That's
yeah.
minimum. That's borderline,
is.
literally
That's
the bottom of the barrel to make a basic
That's-
character.
that's the
if you're
world
writing a
we live in.
character, that's literally step one.
That's the world we
Why
live
is
in.
that the top tier? Tarantino, the best film director ever
I
to
don't
be in
know.
existence.
I don't know
Like,
why
it's
he's
not.
that.
Anyway,
He's not.
Anyway, forgetting about
carry
that,
on.
he asked for free
So, yeah.
drinks, doing it in a non-German way, a very
Yeah.
British way. At which point the general notices that, but says nothing. He just looks at him, and you can tell by his facial expression what's going to happen. It then cuts to a scene of him pulling out a gun under the table and aiming it at him. I think he touches his leg because the spy knows this.
I mean, he also specifically says, "Hey, I'm aiming my pistol at
Oh,
your
okay.
testicles right now."
doesn't he say it in
Which is-
German?
No, I
'Cause
think
they
he
do
says
that
it in
as
English, like to almost like show that he's like
Oh,
onto
okay.
them. He's speaking their language, if I remember correctly.
And
And then he
this-
retaliates with, "Aha! I've had my pistol pointed at your balls
Yeah.
this entire time."
and then it
Which
cuts.
is-
Then this is when it starts cutting, and if I'm not wrong,
So after a few,
the first cut is
shots are fired.
isn't the first cut the guy next to him, the really muscular German, not muscular, but the German guy who
Okay,
like got away from Germany because he didn't agree. He shoots the general in the nuts. At which point the general then shoots the spy in the nuts. The spy just
I
shoots the
don't
guy in
think
the nuts.
did hit him in the nuts, which is why this cut was also
Pointless.
Just from like again what I remember, because it again very fast paced. I'm pretty sure like the pain of being shot caused him to miss his first shot,
Probably.
or at least it didn't hit him in the testicles.
Yeah, child in
which-
the distance.
Well, not that it matters. Yeah,
The thing
and
is,
then the film proceeds to cut a million times. So you know people are shooting each other, but you don't know who's shooting who until literally the end when they're all like finished off by being mowed down by the guy. in the corner.
apart from the guy's birthday,
The guy's birthday. You mean
the guy who's
who's
having his
just had the
birthday
son?
day, yeah. Oh no, it's not
Yeah.
his birthday. Yeah, I swear it was his
Yeah,
birthday because they're all
it's- no,
celebrating
yeah,
at the
his son
beginning.
was-
But yeah, it's his birthday. Technically birthday.
Yeah,
then.
because he happened to be in the corner. I'm sure he shifted over. So
Yeah.
this, I just want to quickly go through that scene. The bartender, the male bald bartender,
yeah, has a shotgun.
whose side was he? Because I thought he was
He's-
on.
I want to
Go-
say he's because he knows the famous lady. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't.
But I'm gonna say he's just general, just a normal German bystander, just someone there working their job. I don't think he's on anybody's side. He only
okay.
shoots. I don't even know who he shoots. I can't remember.
Well, no, that's the thing. So this book feels like he reached for his. I thought he reached for the gun or put his gun on his hand on the gun under
Yeah,
the
he did,
counter when it was mentioned that like it sounded like the German was possibly getting suspicious. I could just be misremembering that. But then he pulls out and shoots towards the Americans, like with a fucking shotgun. So this isn't even if he's aiming for the German general sitting with them. It's a shotgun, right? Like I don't know. Oh, I
He's
don't
also
know. I
reading
don't
a
know whose
book.
side he was on. Like thinking back on it. So yeah, it's like a confusing scene. There's the fact what was his name? The film guy. I can't remember his name. He didn't
Quentin
have the
Tarantino?
right awards
Oh.
on, which is absolutely like it's something most people won't notice. But when it's Tarantino and I'm being told, oh, he's amazing with detail, someone not
Hey, bro,
having like
that dude
the
ordered
right
the drinks like a
medals,
Brit, bro. It was crazy.
someone not having the right medals on is a bit of a. It's especially when it's such an easy thing to research. Like,
So-
I wouldn't expect people to be like, oh yeah, I know how to scalp. Gosh, these people are doing it right. But I'd expect more people to recognize war medals and like which ones someone should be able to have.
I'd like to say that the cuts
Mm-hmm.
they are quick, but it is very easy to tell what's happening. In my
I'm
opinion,
gonna load up the scene because I need to.
it's
see it again.
it's typical Tarantino zoom in shots, so you understand who's shooting at what. Vaguely.
I mean,
Also, remember all these people look vaguely the same, not just because of the uniform, but because they're all,
generic.
apart from a couple of people, a fairly similar build.
my comment from someone that again fucking hates movies.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm just like the betrayer of all critic towards movies. Is that do you need to know what's happening? Like let me just explain this fully before you
Okay.
reply. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to tell who's shooting at who and exactly like what
Yeah.
sequence of events just occurred. But what I'm saying is, could it not be a better than the other option stylistic choice to have a set of scenes where you have this tension building in this bar, and then snap, everything goes down, all the guns fired. It's just rapid cuts, very confusing. You don't fully know who's shooting at who. You're not quite sure who's prevailing. To then end with like a wide pan shot, and you can figure out then, could that not just be a stylistic choice?
That's what they do.
'Cause,
Yeah,
do you
it
need
could
to know
be.
who's shooting who, like while it's going on?
In the sense, it is a stylistic choice to do it that way. I think the way Tarantino did it in that scene is trying to show you who's involved in the fight, who gets shot, and then he does a wide shot of everybody dead, more or less. I think, everybody dead apart from one character. You understand from those shots who gets shot and why they get shot, like by what or by who. But I think it was more of a stylistic choice than anything to just show you there was a huge amount of tension and then just pure chaos for a few seconds, and then again just nothingness. Just it was just a calm scene. Which I think it's that scene. The best bit about that scene is just the whole character development and the whole bit beforehand than the actual action. I don't think, personally, I would say Tarantino isn't amazing at action scenes. I would say he's much better when it comes to story writing characters. I wouldn't say he's a professional.
The story was, overall the story was okay. It wasn't anything.
You are aware that the person from the beginning is the same person as the end.
Yeah.
The girl, okay.
But again, like not to be critical, like everyone can enjoy what media they want, right?
Yeah.
Like I obviously have absolutely no. I've not watched this movie. I've not watched a review of this movie, and I won't watch this movie. I have no interest. But hearing like you are aware the person from the beginning is the person at the end, it's like, wow, that trope that is not at all original and not at all special, that's been done for thousands of years since the Greeks.
I'll be honest.
Like,
when I saw the opening
that's not
scene,
an impressive thing. Like, why are we heralding Tarantino as like, wow, this was a really cool story writing feature and character development feature of this movie? That's not impressive at all. Like, it's not even remotely impressive.
I don't think anybody says it was
saw
impressive.
the opening scene and she was getting away. One, I don't know why it took him like so long to get out of the house when he knew what was going on. Two, I was really hoping he was going to snipe her down with that pistol.
That would have
from
been
that
quite
distance.
amusing.
I'd have been so angry.
That
It would have
that
been
first
hilarious.
scene is a good scene as well.
Yeah, the first scene was pretty
No,
decent.
the reason I took that, Charles, like someone was saying was impressive, is the way you said, because Phelan said that like he didn't think the overall like story was particularly special necessarily, like not bad, just not like stand out. And you were like, you are aware that this suggesting that made it like some amazing feat, which like,
No,
you know,
I'm just
fair enough,
making
you
sure.
can think that.
It would have
It's just that
been
I
a
would
complete
critique that as, like, no.
non-story if it wasn't the same person. To be fair,
It's true.
it just would have been person doesn't like Nazis to kill, which technically still works.
Remembering it now, actually, to be honest, I keep going for my glasses. I'm not wearing my glasses. Something I would say is there are scenes, noticeably when she's in the restaurant, in the cafe, and the movie star comes in. It's like, oh, I'm a hero. Those scenes I feel play out a bit too long. Everything with him I just found boring.
Maybe, yeah. Tarantino, like I say, Tarantino has some weird pacing where scenes will either go from like 0 to 1,000 in a second, which can be fine, but other scenes stay at 0 the entire time, and it's.
I wish
You could say it's stylistic, but there's just like no. It reeks of someone who has a million ideas in their head, and they want to do them all without compromising to make them fit together better. Is how I
would
think,
say
is how I'd put
the
that.
thing is, the best example I can give you when it comes to Tarantino and stylization is I don't know if you've ever seen Django Unchained.
No, I've not.
But there's a scene in that near the end. It's not a spoiler because it's seen everywhere on the internet now. Where he shoots a lady like in a doorway, and she flies back in the complete wrong direction at about 50 miles an hour.
Well,
Like
that's
it's
awesome.
completely.
I'm
I'm gonna
not
get
seeing
the
that
scene. It's completely not realistic, but it's
Okay.
done for a stylistic reason because it's. I think he did it because it's funny. Not like in a comedy sense, but just because it's you see that and go, that doesn't make sense, but it's quite amusing.
Could I just ask Phelan and Charles that I'm not going to give plot spoilers for anyone listening in or for you two towards the TV series Mr. Robot. but I am going to be giving spoilers about some of the directing choices they made in 2 episodes. It will give 0 things about the plot, and
Okay.
you would not pick up on these things until you were watching the episodes anyway, which you would know immediately within like 5 minutes of watching the episode.
Sure.
But I have said before on this podcast, I think a lot of movies would be better as TV series that have a very defined start and finish. Here's the reason. I think TV series that do that, and I'm speaking more of an online modern style idea of a TV series, right, where you're looking at like 40 to an hour long episodes, such as Mr. Robot, have this great feature where they take something like Sam Esmail's envisionment for Mr. Robot was originally meant to be a movie, but very quickly realized that the complexity and depth of the characters and story he wants to tell was just not. The movie would be like 20 hours long. Like you could not do it as a movie. So it was done as a TV series. And that worked out great because it allows you to explore the characters more. It allows you to do like episodes that focus on a specific character. All of those features that you can get from a storytelling perspective in a TV series.
Yeah.
I think you have that extra advantage. And one of the things Phelan says there is that like he feels it one of those directors where he wants to do like a specific thing without compromising on other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that creates this sort of problem where it just ends up being a bit messy in places, or it doesn't work out because that's just not going to happen. A good example I think to counter that is, for example, in Sam Esmail's Mr. Robot, there is an episode where no character speaks like at any point. Well, that's not true. Technically, there's an opening sentence that says that basically is an introductory nod to no one's going to speak this episode, and an ending sentence that ends with like we can now talk, and it is stellar. It is like an hour of complete silence, other than not complete silence, but complete dialogue silence, right? All character development and communication is done through hand signals, facial expressions, body language. It is a great episode. Another episode of Mr. Robot is a one shot. It is a one shot take. It's not actually a one shot take, because most one shot takes actually aren't anymore, right? But it is done in the style of one shot. And again, it's great because that entire one shot thing isn't even just focused on one person and it's following them around. It isn't focused on one thing. It's focused on one plot point. And they do this whole thing where in one shot they show all of the different characters that you've built up over, multiple seasons at this point, and learn loads of different things about their complexities and their relationships and what they value. And you get to see them interacting in this culmination of a big story event, a big beat in the plot, in this one-shot take. And that is why I think that movies like this should be TV series. Because if you want to do a particular stylistic thing, you can. You just make an episode for that stylistic thing, right? And that's what I'm getting at here. Like, do you think, Valen, this story, and obviously again, like, it's not going to be the exact plot of the film because it would have to be adapted for a TV series. Like, there's no denying that. But do you think it would have been better as a shorter TV series, like in terms of TV series, like one series, like X amount of episodes or something, right?
Yeah.
That covered the rough same idea with the rough same characters, where you could do that sort of thing, where you could have an episode that was stylized more in this way, so you could get that styling and get that creative sort of side out of your system. Do you think that would have been better than the movie?
In this case, I think so. To be honest.
Yeah. Because I know that's like a really complex question, but I am genuinely interested in people's opinions, because I feel like a lot of the movies I've watched would just be better in this scenario, and this is a hill that I'm really starting to want to die on.
I know this is a film that Phelan will hate because of pacing. Pulp Fiction's a great one as well.
Okay.
That's got
I've heard.
awful pacing, and it changes. Its chapters are just don't even ask. You need to know to really understand them. Like, it is easy to understand watching the film, but they are just really weirdly done. Again, it's just a stylistic choice. I know what you mean, Alfie, but I think it's just a personal opinion. Personally, I wouldn't want to make TV shows because that's just not what I want to do. I would much rather put more time and effort into making a film that I enjoy making, and I think that's what Tarantino likes doing, is making films that he enjoys writing.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
making.
as a person, whatever, he's doing whatever he wants to do. I got no criticism with that. I mean, he's clearly successful. He's doing something better than I am.
Also,
it's just, for me, I think that a lot of criticisms of movies often come down to something that could be fixed with just making it a short form TV series.
God, she does go flying away.
yeah,
Sorry,
it is funny. It's funny, but for the wrong reasons. It's just a stylistic choice that is just amusing. He probably got he would have had a stunt DP there. He would have had a VFX DP there. Loads of people saying, "Well, this isn't realistic. This isn't right." He just goes, "Fuck it, it's funny." when you're on a film set or TV set, there's loads of people around you telling you this is what you should be doing, or that's not right, or this is not right, and you either make that decision of, okay, we're going to make it realistic, follow a story beat, or we're just going to do something completely different.
I mean, there are, like, use Mr. Robot as an example from the TV series, there are things in Mr. Robot that are more accurately portrayed than pretty much any other media I've seen, right? Like, its portrayal of hacking and tech community, and hacker culture, a bit of anarchist culture, like all of that is great, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's really well done. Equally, there are things that don't make sense that were clearly just decisions from, like, Sam as the director, or maybe someone suggested it to him on set and they ended up agreeing on it. Like, this is just funnier. Like, this is just more entertaining, or this is just looks better, right? Like, even if it doesn't strictly make as much sense. It's not common, it's not the whole thing by any means, it's like rare. But there are definitely things where it's like, yeah, that could have been done in a more realistic way, but fuck it, that shot looked cool, so fuck it.
Really can't get over that scene. Now watching it is quite amusing. It's like she's been dragged by a fucking ghost.
Yeah, she leaves, man. She fucking went to another realm with her. That was
Honestly,
awesome.
it is funny, but like...
See, yeah, maybe that film's a comedy. Maybe I watched the wrong one.
I don't know. Django Unchained is a great film. It does have comedic beats in it. I can't say one of them on stream for reasons. But again, it's long-winded. I would say a good trait of Tarantino films is they're long-winded. Most certainly, they've got detail that you will never see. Sorry, like detailed parts in a script that you would never see on the actual film, because Tarantino just loves to write that much content, I guess, just to give a backstory that you will just that you know you will see later on, or in extras or bloopers or outtakes. That's what he enjoys doing. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is apparently a good film. Haven't seen it yet. Really want to. I love how everybody was like, oh my god, this is a great film. But did you know this is the first time two Hollywood A-listers are next to each other, that haven't been next to each other in all film history, which I didn't believe, but apparently is true. Apparently Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio haven't worked together, like, as two leading stars in a film, which, congrats on Tarantino for doing that, for somehow. I'm trying to think. Like, I always praise Edgar Wright. Apparently, that's more of a cult following, I guess, because his films are either loved or just not watched. Quite literally, you could say you don't like Shaun of the Dead. I know Alfie will say he doesn't like Shaun of the Dead. I think it's a really good film.
No.
Oh, that's right.
Like, it's just okay. Like again, you keep like none of the like this Tarantino film. I've never watched it. If I was to watch it, I'd probably just go, it's alright. Because my response to 99.9% of films is just, yeah, it's alright.
Alfie, we're trying to make you the villain of the movie scene.
But everyone watches a Tarantino film and goes, oh my god, this man,
Yes,
this beautiful being has crafted
what I went
art
into
beyond any
expecting.
conception. And it's like, but it just isn't. It isn't even like there are YouTube fucking scripted series made by 13-year-olds that have better story development than this fucking movie, apparently. Like, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a criticism of Tarantino. He's just a person making movies. Those movies are successful, good on him, right? All the people that acted in them, good on them. But it's just this attitude that some people have towards certain directors or certain movies, or like certain genres, I guess, as well. Like, they just talk about it as if it's some special thing, as if having a character that has British idioms while being British is impressive. Like, that's not impressive at all, even remotely. Like, they're British, of course they do. That's basic character writing. That's like year one of college character writing. Like, come on.
I see a very similar thing that you keep talking about, and that's character writing and character.
Well, it's because in that particular context, yeah, everyone was like the discussion was about how that's like a really cute touch that you wouldn't immediately pick up on, even though it is explained later on in the movie. Like, that's about that character being, like in this example, British, right? But in any other example, it could be, oh, this character did this thing because it's part of their culture, or they did it because it's their upbringing, or they use this idiom because it becomes from this. Like all this stuff is that's not like, don't be wrong. Do I think it commonly happens in character writing? No. But do I think it's impressive when something does it? No, because the things where it doesn't happen in, I don't consider good art or good media. Like, I do consider it art. All art is good art, in my opinion. But I don't consider it like particularly stellar. It's not standing out there. It's not unique. It's not special.
So
And to claim that something doing that it's like, no, that's just the base requirements for what I start to think of something. This is on its direction towards being good.
genuinely, one of the best examples I've seen of a very slight character touch in a film. I don't know if you guys have seen Snatch by Guy Ritchie.
No, I don't think so.
I do recommend it. It is an interesting film. But there's a character in that. It's played by Brad Pitt. And the really, really nice thing they did, which you don't ever notice until you watch it, is the fact that he tries his very best to do an Irish accent. And it just doesn't work. He tries to be...
yeah. That would be an
I
interesting.
don't think I can say that on stream, so never mind.
Okay. That would be an interesting comment. What's your opinions on actors doing something, right, for the betterment of character development or to make the characters more in-depth or to add a detail to them that's, special, like we're talking about with these characters, even if the actors technically aren't great at it and it slightly immersion breaks. So, for example, I'm going to have to do this in a non-spoilery way. I have been watching some media recently, right? And in that media, a specific group of people have an accent, right? The language they speak is based on a real-life language, but it is partly fictional. And they have an accent. Now, based on where they are, all of the people that speak in that and are in this group change slightly the accent that they do. Because it's a cultural thing. Part of the culture, part of the character development in this case is that people in this community have a slightly heavier accent in this location, a slightly weaker accent, and a slightly more tangy one here. And all of the characters will change that accent when speaking to the other people because it's part of a culture like making both parties feel more comfortable with each other, right? Like, it's just how that interaction works in the culture, in this lore. And the thing is, some of the actors, they just don't quite nail the accent when they're in certain regions, right? Like, some are good at it all the time, some are good at it none of the time. Some are good at it in specific areas but can't put this tange on it, or, really struggle when they have to speak it out a bit heavier. But do you think it's better that an actor does that, even if it makes their acting slightly worse and it's slightly immersion breaking because the accent's just slightly weird in that case? But do you think it makes a piece of media better if they're doing that thing, they're contributing to the depth that adds to these group of people? Or would you rather they just all spoke with one accent consistently?
That's very hard to answer because I got a better example, but for a slightly different reason, in my opinion. But it kind of follows that same sort of trope, which would be, I don't know if any of you have seen The Enemy at the Gate. I feel like failing you may have. But that follows. It's a World War II film that follows.
Sorry, to say Enemy at the Gate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm zoning. Yes, that was a.
Yeah, that's a
one I
great
enjoyed.
film. But
Quite like that one.
that did it. So who is it? I can't. Jude Law. Jude Law played Russia's most renowned sniper, but arguably, in World War II. And what they did there was they didn't bother trying to make or teach Jude Law. I don't know. I haven't seen the behind the scenes, so I don't know the context of this. But Jude Law didn't do a Russian accent. He just did what his natural voice was, maybe a bit different to try and fit the time period and all that. But he didn't do a Russian accent. He just focused on the acting side. Would that take you out of the story, or like would you prefer they spent months learning and perfecting a Russian accent to fit the time period and his nationality, or do you prefer him just speaking as is and concentrating on the acting and the story aspect of it? Because Enemy at the Gate is a great film
that
nonetheless.
varies per film, because in that sort of film I was there because it was like a war film, which I'm pretty interested in. I just sort of wanted to watch it and enjoy it, and in that case I'd just go for like a flat accent that is typical of me, that I can understand, like a English or American accent. If it was a more arty film, like say for example what Tarantino films are meant to be, that is where I'd expect like the accents coming in. And to be fair, in Inglourious Bastards, for example, there were good accents as far as I know.
Yeah,
I don't know all the
questionable.
different German ones.
Let's not talk about what is it? Is he Italian American trying to speak Italian near the end, which was quite amusing.
I suppose that was technically a bit of comedy.
That
But
apparently has a long meaning behind it. But like,
I mean, yeah.
like I'm trying. It's the same as your question. It's hard. I feel like it just depends on the film or TV.
Well,
you're
that's the thing.
watching.
My critical opinion here is that it isn't the same as my question, and this is why. What you're asking is, should actors do accents, right? And again,
Yeah.
I still think it is contextual based on the film. In general, right? I'm not particularly biased either way, but I think it adds to the art where an entire culture, right? Like in this particular show, you could even argue that they are a new race of humans, right? Having that depth to them where they have
Oh, I know
this
what you're
accent,
talking
the
about.
accent changes based on where they are, who they're speaking to, what the hierarchy, the social hierarchy is, how close to the person they are. Even if the actors are like slightly finicky at doing the accent, or don't quite nail it all of the time, or their voice, slightly goes off in places. Like, I would rather that they did that in that context, because I think it adds so much to the art, adds so much to who these characters are, what they mean to me, what their culture means. Like that's the difference. It's not just them doing an accent or whether they should or shouldn't. It's about how, like, because it's such a big part of like this group of people.
I would say
It adds complexity and stuff that, sure, like some of the actors, sometimes their accent's just bad or their voice just misses. They just don't hit it. And obviously, partly you could argue that could come with better vocal training and vocal coaching. But like across making it, like, to do something as complex as having an accent that varies that much, like, it's not going to be. You're never just going to nail it. Like, no amount of vocal coaching is going to nail that. Versus just actual real life humans that have been doing that for thousands of years, right?
I think we can answer that question. You actually kind of answered the question for both me and your question, for both of our questions, in the sense that it's very dependent on the story. In your case, with the show you're watching, which I now know, yes, it matters because it is a part of the story, be it crucial or not. It is a part of the story. So the fact they should be doing these different accents and their variations matters because it's a bit of the story beats. It's something.
I wouldn't say it's a part of the story. Like, it doesn't have any plot significance.
Yeah,
it's
but
just
okay. So
it's a part of the culture of that group of people within the
world
plot.
building, which is important for a TV show.
Yeah.
It's world building, which is really. But I would say, like, when we're talking about like Enemy at the Gate, it's irrelevant what accent he has for the story, because it's not a historical film. It isn't a documentary. It is a piece of creative media that is got which aims on setting a story of this character and what he went through. It isn't trying to replicate what happened. It's just trying to give you his point of view in that, and it was mainly being shown in a Western audience, so understandably it really didn't matter from the director's point of view and probably the production what accent he did. He could have done a Russian accent for all they cared. It probably wouldn't have made a difference if he could pull one off really easily and still act the way he acted. It would have made no difference. It was just it depends.
But would
on
it have
that
added to
story.
the art though?
That's
more the question I'm asking. Would you take that piece of media and, from a critical, analysing it as a piece of art perspective, think that it would be better if he had done an accent?
No.
Or, for example, if he had changed his hairstyle to a traditional hairstyle of that culture at the time, or something like that, right?
I don't.
Because I would say yes.
I don't
Like, of course
think
it
in that
would.
sense it would, because again, it's telling a story from that point. Is again another example I would use would be Fury. They went out of their way to make Brad Pitt look like he was from that period, or a lot of the actors, different hairstyles, accents, the way they spoke. That worked from a point of art. That I would say that film there is a piece of art compared to Enemy at the Gate. Enemy at the Gate is a great story. Fury is a great piece of art because there's very little talking compared to a lot of films in that film. It's more visual storytelling, which I think the fact that the actors went through their way of, okay, some of them going a bit too extreme, Shia LaBeouf not showered for like 3 months, but like that went towards the art of making a very unique piece of art, a bit of media. Again, it is very different. It is very hard to say for one film, does that matter? Like what you're talking about, I think it does, because yes, from the art point of view, it's world building, and the fact that the actors go through that to train themselves and put the time and effort into to carry on the directors and producers' world building and script writers and all, like creating their world and actually going along with it. I think that is helping with the art, making it a better piece of art, if you will. Again, yeah, I'm trying to think of examples. Those are the only two I can
But again,
think of.
in
that are
whatever the
similar.
movie you was, we're using an example with a guy that's Russian. Why
Yeah.
would it have? Why would it not add to it if he was speaking Russian and change his mannerisms to be more Russian? Like it doesn't take anything away from him not doing from him performing in like an English style or whatever
Because-
he is, right? Does it not just add more to it? Is it not technically the case that him doing that would add more complexity to the character, add more complexity to the acting, add more complexity to his delivery in that sense, that it would just be better?
I
I'm
would
not saying it's like the movie's shit and awful and
Oh, yeah.
terrible without that and it's perfect with it, but I'm saying would it not add to the art? Like surely it has to. Like it just does improve the art.
If I would say if they were to add to the art for that film, make it more authentic, to make it as you said, like higher quality, I don't know, like to add to the art, I think if in that case they were going for that, they would have just hired Russian actors, personally.
Well, again, you say if they were going for that, how do you go for a movie that isn't art? I don't understand.
Oh, because not all films are art, in my opinion. Look at Marvel films, they're not art, they're just bits of fun.
Yeah, they are.
They're fun.
No, that's
I
art.
wouldn't say
It's not art that I necessarily personally find particularly like amazing. I think they're generally overhyped, but it is a culmination of a lot of people's work in story, in character, in CGI, in graphics, in VFX.
Right, I'm gonna
That's
do-
creating a piece of work. That's art.
I'm gonna do what you do sometimes on the stream. I'm
What?
gonna look up the
Oh, no.
definition of art.
Oh god.
The expression or application
If
of
you're
human
okay,
creative
like
skill and
I'm actually
imagination.
impressed that you think that like a Marvel movie wouldn't meet the definition of art.
I know, because I personally don't think. I wouldn't say, because again, this is going to what I find interesting. I would say what Edgar Wright does is art. I wouldn't say what the Russo brothers do, Marvel-wise, is art. I would say that's
I
entertainment.
would say it's just different styles of art.
I would say it's entertainment.
Yeah, but okay, for example, right? If you go back thousands of years to when like painting was like one of the pretty
God.
much like the biggest way to create a piece of art, right? And someone
yeah.
creates like a very nice what's a good example? Just like a standard like portrait, right? Like it's just I mean, you can look at that and be like, yeah, like that's art, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree. How is that different conceptually to someone creating a meme today? They're both art. One is designed more to make you laugh, but they're still art.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I say like creating a meme, I don't necessarily mean someone just like recreating a template. I mean like the person that conceptualizes the template in the first place and,
Yeah.
and pieces it together and designs it and that side of it.
Maybe we'll have to talk about this next week, because
Damn.
But I'm just it genuinely blows my mind that you can consider some movies not art.
yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. If you ask me, like, is a Marvel movie the absolute, most impressive piece of art that's ever been created? Like, no, it's fucking awful in comparison to 99.9% of other pieces of art. But it's still art. It's just art for a different purpose. It's art that's created by a bunch of people, designed and written and constructed and pieced together with the intention of mostly just being mediocre entertainment. It's not art in trying to be something specific or unique, or to do something new, or to have its own specific style, but it's still art. Like it's like saying that like a current popular pop song isn't art because it's a pop song and it's just made to sell on the chart. It's still art. Like, is it as creative as some of the more out there genres of metal? No, not necessarily. But it's not meant to be. It's meant to be widely acceptable.
That's fair. No, definitely. We could definitely go dive. I feel like this is just becoming a movie podcast. The more and more we make it now.
Yeah,
I feel like
think
I'm gonna
it-
become like such a long-term antagonist of just never ever
Yeah.
ever liking movies.
This is working well, but it's come up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to start rolling it down a bit. Slash ending it. Just yeah. No, that was definitely good. It was an interesting talk, most certainly. I don't know what we started with, genuinely. Yogscast. No, we didn't. Yeah, we started with Yogscast, didn't we?
We're supposed to be a fucking weird podcast.
YouTube. No, that's not being weird. It's just this is the most sane podcast we've done because we started with YouTube, went to Yogscast, then we went to films, all quite relatively in a similar sort of subject. We've had weirder ones in the past, most definitely. This has probably been the most normal one when it comes to sticking to a subject and just.
I wouldn't say the most.
I definitely wouldn't say also sticking to a subject, but
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. At least this is going to be uploaded on YouTube straight away. Everybody got duplicated then. But no, it's been good. Anything anybody would like to say before we finish up?
Give me money at twitch.tv/tacticaltv.
Okay.
Sure. I will just say, Quentin Tarantino, if you're listening, good job. You make some movies that make money.
Yeah, we can't we the thing is, as much as we say that, you know, he's living. They're living a very comfortable life right now. So you know.
Oh, that's why I saw what people mean when they say about his weird foot fetish.
Yeah, he has.
Oh,
a
he
foot
does have
fetish.
a. Is he the foot fetish guy?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
That makes a lot more sense now. Okay, yeah, he seems like someone that's just been like well off enough and rich to just like blow all his money making foot fetish films. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there feet in the movie you were talking about?
Yeah,
The
the
Nazi
feet in
one?
all the films.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man, yeah, there were feet in this one.
There, in
Oh,
the one
okay.
in that's not a spoiler. In the one that we were talking about, there's quite literally a leg cast that is quite prominent in the last quarter of the film. So yeah. Also, never mind. That's a different. I can't spoil the film. Anyway, thank you very much, you two, as always.
Shout out to Quentin Tarantino. That's my comment. Just fuck
Okay.
it.
Just,
I'm on his side now.
I wouldn't fuck feet, but okay. No, I really appreciate that. But no, thank you very much, you two, as always. It's always fun pretending to argue against you and, you know, pretending to be against you.
Yeah, alright, but point out when you were pretending. Point out when I was goddamn pretending. That film, like, I didn't even get through my goddamn points because we went off topic and then Charlie's like, oh, we stayed on topic. Right, okay.
Did
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
gonna
punt
see
your?
you
Is
all
that
next
why
week.
you've got like
And
broken
it'll be a lovely
keys? Hey
time.
guys. Right, yes, as always, have a good evening, good day, good night, or good morning. Thanks for the outro, you wonderful human being, and we'll see you in the next next. Well, I've messed that up
next
Every
game.
time. Every time.
every time. What's the outro? You do the outro.
Thanks. Bye.
In Frost we trust.